Are we here? Hello. It's the Smoking Tire Podcast Dusk Show.
Sure is.
Daytime show means no booze. Nighttime show, Racer 5 IPA.
Happy hour show.
Try triple guesting today. Yeah, Chris Cantle in the house. In position one, a man of many words, obviously.
And few talents.
The last minute additions to the show, Raph and Balaban from Jalopnik, and now a television show.
Oh, God.
Car vs. America.
Nobody told us it was hard.
To make TV?
Yeah.
It kind of is, isn't it?
I mean, I saw a thing where it was like a big bald guy, a British guy, and Spinelli could do it. Literally anyone could do it.
Go fuck yourself. You know how much work that shit is?
It's hard. Zach does so much work on the Drive NBC Sports Show, premiering October 16th. Crazy.
He has to carry all the products for Spinelli's
Dude, it's
hair.
so hard to make television when you're not the like Top Gear. I mean, credit where it's due. They work to get where they're at. But like when you're that big, you dictate the procedure.
Yeah.
The manufacturers, like, you need a car, the car appears. You know what I mean? You need that car for a month, no problem. It's yours.
Or you could just buy it.
Or you buy
worst
one.
case scenario.
Yeah, remember they
San
bought
Francisco.
they
just
bought it.
one.
Yeah.
But to me, it's not even that. It's like, okay, what time do we start? And they're like 6 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'm tired. They're
What
like,
do you-
we don't care.
You know what
and
time
then
it
it's like you put in a 14 to 16 hour day. And I'm like, I can't wait until Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, why? I'm like, they're like, no.
No.
You go straight through. I haven't.
Yeah, no, it's
If it makes it feel
really
any better,
intense
you're
work.
going to get canceled in like a month.
It's
Don't
going to be a
worry,
great
he'll
pleasure.
Be back to nothing
Yes.
soon.
Yes. Thank God. I can't wait.
No, it's fun. It's like it's weird when you make something that is, for another's entertainment. It's not. Turns out, you're not the one actually being entertained while making entertainment. How about that? Huh?
It sometimes I'm going to sound like a huge monster saying this, but it is sometimes work to make it look like you're having fun.
Right. It is.
Yeah. And then it's like,
Because it's not. You don't get used take one. Now you have to have fun on take 32.
well, that's the thing. And you know what? For take 32, Matt, I really want to see you have a little more fun.
A little
just more fun this time.
A little more energy.
Yes.
I wonder if there are things that we could say to Farrah that would like trigger him. That would just set him right back into like.
Wait, don't what
Farrah,
were
actually, we weren't recording on that last take. Could you just do this one more time, but with a little bit more energy?
A little more energy is a common one.
You know what? It's all right. I'll tell you. And God, I'm gonna get in trouble. I always get
Do it.
Here's the trigger for me. When I love the man, but when Mike Spinelli can't say one sentence without the whole thing breaking down. And I joked about take 37, but that shit is real sometimes.
The glee in your face right now makes it.
And the problem is, takes 1 through 5 are funny. And then it gets not funny for about a dozen takes, and you want to punch someone in the head.
But
and
then
then
it's
by
back.
take 26 or 27, it's like super funny again. And then it remains that way.
And then it's just impossible. And
But
then you
we'll
get
be just
Spinelli doing Dracula
sweating.
voice the whole time. Yeah.
Well, that's when he's getting nervous. Like he'll start. It's really funny because you're like, all right, Spinelli, you're up. You have to say, and now we're going to set off in the NSX. And he'll go, okay, yeah, I got what?
Yeah.
And it's like no one said anything, but he's so nervous. He's like, no, did you say something? No? Yeah. Okay. All right. We got it set up. The thing about
here? What's going on?
Acura. No, I got it. I got it.
Study and shit.
Acura.
Too. He knows. Like, he reads.
So funny.
He studies. He's ready. Camera. That light turns green.
I mean,
it happens to all of us.
hard.
It's not, it's not easy.
I've learned the art of a producer saying, okay, all you need to say is 3 words. And I go, got it. And then they turn the camera on and I go, what, huh?
Mm-hmm. No, the biggest thing I learned.
What has the 3?
The 3? Which words?
Which 3 was that? In TV, like, you speak one sentence and then you stop. And then you speak another sentence and then you stop. Always just do it one sentence at a time because they can chop them all together super easy. And then you only have to remember one sentence. And the editors will call you and go, "You're amazing. You left me cut points." And then they love you. And then you just do one sentence at a time, and everyone will love you.
Yeah, except they always say, "Oh, that's amazing," and then like you're getting back like the first rough cut, and they're like, "Yeah, this really wasn't great."
You said it was amazing. You
Lied to me.
How are you guys liking shooting around the cities and stuff. In like you get crowds, you get any of that kind of stuff. The crowd controls.
We were at Ocean City, Maryland for H2OI.
Oh, that's like the most ticketed car show in
Yeah.
America, right? It's like a stance show, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Except not only was it a stance show this year, the official show was canceled. So it was like just.
Oh no.
It was mayhem.
It was,
We going anyway.
I mean,
We don't
listen,
even need a
listen.
show.
Was a guy charged with attempted murder? Maybe. But
Really?
that was unrelated to the
Was it
to
a
the
vehicular?
stance, whatever.
Or was
yeah,
it a stabbing or something?
he just tried to mow down 2 cops, but like who has
really?
That's leaving every car show if you're
Yeah,
in a Mustang.
exactly.
So
Okay,
so he's the
maybe
coolest
there was
guy
a,
at the show.
Maybe
now.
there was a guy in a Chevy Malibu who allegedly maybe was involved in some marijuana something, and maybe possibly is accused
The
of
devil's lettuce.
The devil's lettuce in a Malibu? Never.
hitting 2 cops as he was trying to flee the scene.
Don't
and eventually,
blame that on marijuana. Come on.
and then eventually jumped into the bay to try to swim to safety.
Well, because the
That
cops were
sounds a
shooting
lot
him.
like PCP to me, frankly.
does.
I mean,
Anyway.
I've seen some PCP, and that's what that looks like. Jumping into the bay is not a weed
If we-
thing.
listen, we got a bay
weed
right
doesn't
here.
make you jump.
Yeah, I was gonna say half of Los Angeles would be in the bay.
weed makes,
That
you,
was
weed
the-
makes you sit right there. It does not make you fucking jump.
But yeah, we were trying to shoot we were like, it's the end of the day. It's like, the crew is about to go into overtime in the middle of the night. We're on the sidewalk. Like, people are doing burnouts next to us on the street. And it's just like, all right, just say like one line of wrap up. And like every third bro walking past is just like screaming in the
Oh
camera.
no,
Just,
Harambe!
all that shit.
Actually, oh god,
there a
yeah,
Haram?
there was a lot of that.
And like,
And we're like, that meme is old.
Baba booey, baba booey.
Yes, we got one of those
We're
too.
Baba booey.
We got one of
Did
those.
you get a free bird? That's the
No, we
trifecta.
got- that would be-
The triple crown of hell.
I don't know if I'm ready to see God like that.
the only weird thing was when all the shooting was over, which was like 2 minutes later, I like walked over to the guy and was just like, dude, your memes are really way behind the times. You've really got to step it up.
Catch up with these
And then
memes.
it's just like drunk bros, just like, oh, who are you talking to? I don't understand what's going
So
on.
wait, what was the actual premise of the bit you were doing at H2OI? Was it just to explore the culture of that?
Yeah, normally like we have a reason, like something we definitely want to see. But H2OI, we were like, we're just gonna wing this one and just like see what happens.
Did it
all
go? Did it go
anthropology.
well? Sometimes winging it really works.
Is that
it-
like snorkeling? Like you don't go in specifically to see one fish. You're like, I'm just gonna see something.
Yeah, I'm just gonna see some weird
Yeah.
things.
Tim, let's see if we can find some pictures of H2OI car show.
Well, they used
right?
to have
Ocean
the
City,
what
if
like
you can
the
find some
driveway, right? And
hilariousness.
if you pulled in the driveway and your bumper falls off, they're like, you're awesome.
well, that's
Or-
with the speed bump like competition, right?
So
That's the
we
thing.
that was going to be one of the main segments of the show of that episode, which got cut short because the car that we were going to drive got pulled over and nearly impounded on the way to the shoot.
Gangster.
And then
Were you rolling?
I
No. Cameras weren't rolling.
cameras were obviously
Raph
not
might
rolling.
have been rolling, but
No.
the cameras were
The
not.
camera vehicle had actually been pulled over 4 times that day. We're able to record one part of the segment, and then they were like, all right, we don't have time. It's taking too long. The day's over. We'll record the rest the next day. And he blew his oil pan in the time in between that. And it was just like, yeah, car's
Dude,
broke,
shooting
can't do it.
modified cars kind of sucks, right? It's a real
bad
pain in
news.
the dick. We did this show called Tuned for 3 years. It's a real pain in the dick. These cars act up constantly. You have no idea what's going to go on. We've seen people replacing head studs on the side of the road in like 100.
See, but this is my problem because everyone looks at me like a crazy person. I'm like, modified cars, like they're great in theory, but in execution they're always trash. And everyone looks at me like I'm a crazy person. 'Cause,
Well-
like,
Well,
if
they're
you
really
actually-
cool, but like the worst thing that would happen is we'd pull up to a shoot and you watch people walk out of their garage and they just go they go like this. Hey Matt, how's it going? And you're like, what did you do? And they're like, hey guys, and it's the lean. So we put on the dyno last night because
Listen,
we wanted to
here's
get a few extra horsepower. We wanted to get 3 more.
Yeah.
And we got 2.
Yeah.
And now we have 0.
Yeah. That's how it works. That's how it works.
We were gonna try. We're going for like that extra little bit, and now the paddle shifters don't work, and we don't have air conditioning, and
True story.
It chimes every 44 seconds.
Or also the other really good one is when you ask somebody like, oh, what'd you do to it? And they're like, stage 2. And I'm like, what is that? What does that mean?
Bro, I'm not fucking around. I swear to God, I have the ultimate stage. The ultimate stage. Wait till you see the video. We were shooting yesterday. I swear, fucking God, the guy couldn't have been any nicer. And
That's the thing.
But-
They're always so kind.
They're so
he
polite.
This
Why are
dude
they so
rolls up
polite?
in a Rentec SL55, right?
Naturally. Like
That
you
was
do.
originally purchased by a baseball player, okay? And it's red, okay? And it's this guy is one of the best like amateur detailers I've ever seen because this car was shining from a couple hundred yards away. But this car had $230,000 worth of Rentec stuff on it on top of the car when delivered new. Okay.
Yeah.
So it was blah 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 blah. I was just like, there's just shit. There's so much shit all over it.
Was there
right?
gold? Was there gold?
And I go, there wasn't, but there really should have been. Frankly, if there was, it would have been right at home.
Yeah.
Just think about
So
it.
I
Gold.
go-
A little bit of gold. Goes great.
I go, what's been done to this thing? And I kid you not, the fucking guy goes, it's like stage 7. and I'm like, oh, I stop. I go, I'm sorry, did you say 7? And he chuckled at the absurdity of it as well.
Did he make up that stage? Because like.
I don't think he did. I think somebody told him that at some point. I don't think.
He just kept adding
Somebody
stuff.
told him
Could
that.
you watch
and,
him
like,
think it out while he's
a
doing
lot
It was foretold in the ancient scribes that one day there would be a stage 7.
This was the craziest
Choose
one.
wisely.
Ye who has the special ECU key shall unlock the stage 7.
The one will possess the red key.
It's like Thor's hammer. No one can lift the red key
Oh
but
my
him.
God.
Category
Has been
6 hurricane.
Stage 7. You won't believe. You will believe when you see it. But it's so funny. But I do have to tell you because the other thing happened during this shoot. This was yesterday. There was the single craziest thing that has ever happened to me on a shoot.
Okay.
I swear, I kid you not.
It beats the
log.
log.
It
for
beats
the
the
It
log?
beats the log. It beats the log. It beats the horses. So we get to the location yesterday, and today it was my first day of winter hours, which we shoot at a later hour as opposed to a super first light hour. So we get to the location on the side of the road in the Angeles Forest, and there is a white Jeep Patriot there. I'm not filming this thing. It's just there. And there's like garbage bags taped over the windows, and my initial impression is somebody's sleeping in that motherfucker. So the cars show up. It's like 4 cars, and I'm doing my walk-arounds and whatever, and no one's getting out of this thing. We're at this thing for like a while. And I started to think like maybe somebody went for a morning hike or something. I don't know, whatever. We're having a conversation. I'm doing my spiel about how to like do drive-bys for people, like how to drive for drive-bys because I film them. All of a sudden, the Patriot fucking rustles, dude. This dude gets out of the fucking Patriot with a machete.
What the?
Wielding a machete and looks around in a panic. I'm like, I just go, whoa, and like hands up and like step away and back up. I'm like, and this guy's confused as fuck and was clearly sleeping until like this very second, even though
Yes.
and he got out there wigged out holding a machete.
I mean, naturally, that's how I
I was like,
wake up.
whoa, we're cool, man, we're cool.
One doth not
We're
fuck
just doing
with
some
Machete
car
Man.
shit, man. We're cool. And he just like, oh man, you fucking scared me, bro. And put that shit back in the sheath and got in the Jeep Patriot driver's seat and started and drove away.
What did he think? What did he hear that freaked him out so much? Like, what possible sentence was like a
You're
trigger?
driving a Jeep Patriot.
He heard-
Something's happened.
He
True.
heard there was a stage 7 Rentec.
The last time that happened, the devils came out of the ground.
Bro.
There are. I mean, I've heard there are rumors of a stage 8, but you know, those
say
are
that.
unreleased.
Now the NSA is
Yeah.
listening to this.
Only Subarus have stage 8.
Yeah, it's buying another car that goes to stage 4.
Now I can cross off machete. Off my
Jesus
list. That was
Christ.
my one. The top of the list I had was machete. Fuck, I got a
Machete.
machete pulled on me. What to do? Shoot some stupid cars. This is why you need to stop this shit.
Was he holding it upright? Like a,
It was no.
like
it was
boarding
he
a
had
ship
it.
or
It was
downward,
as
like
he
was
got out of the
gonna-
car. He was removing it from the sheath,
That's
Like
so
you
much
do.
more macho.
as you do.
He's ready to party.
It was very gangster. Ugh.
Kill Bill 3.
Everything about it was gangster except
I
the
heard
part
there
about
was some
sleeping in a
plants.
Jeep Patriot. That part was not gangster on the side of a mountain.
Did he think you were like a bunch of bamboo encroaching
I'm sure
on his
he
parking
thought
spot?
we were trying to,
Take
roll
his
up on
Patriot.
him and take his.
Maybe he
Patriot.
heard the word. All he heard was drive by over and over again. He was like, "No way, dude! Not on my watch.
Look, guys, here's how you do drive-bys. This might be your first time doing drive-bys, but me, I've done it a bunch of times. So just listen up. That's kind of.
So I'll be by the Patriot. I'll be shooting that way by the Patriot. He's like, now we're all piecing it together.
There's
Like,
probably a
all
lot
right.
of shooting and drive.
Out of context.
This guy's fucking in there like smoking a meth bowl, going, "They're not taking me alive, motherfucker." It was fucking sketch. By far the sketchiest thing I've ever seen. Anyway, Cantle,
Hey-o.
how you doing?
I'm good.
Welcome.
Thank
What have you been
you.
driving? Motorcycling. You brought copies. We got to plug
copies.
it.
I'm
You
a
Cycle
gentleman.
World.
I'm a but
It's
that's
right
not my
here.
magazine.
No, that's not your magazine.
Motorcyclist.
That's me, a magazine.
Wait.
Hold it up for the camera.
Let's all
there.
hold it at the same time.
Motorcyclist magazine.
Thank you.
I've
thank
been
you.
reading Motorcyclist.
Brought to you by
It looks good
Motorcyclist.
on you. So
I
that's,
have a
you
flight
got
tomorrow. I
first
look
bounce.
forward to reading it. What's
thanks.
what's the story, man? How's
Well,
it going?
I just scored that thing. So it's my first
just scored this.
magazine as an editor in chief, and I'm pretty stoked about it.
Yo,
Congratulations.
Very
Thank you.
congratulations.
And
Thank you.
how does it actually feel?
it's like
to be an
writing,
editor-in-chief?
except without any writing and more bullshit.
Oh my god, it's terrifying.
Don't you have to do a column? There's no
I
editor's
do.
column.
I do. So let me tell you how scary this is. So motorcycle has been around forever, and I always knew that. But I was a Cycle World guy growing up, right? My granddad read Cycle World, so I was a Cycle World guy. And I knew Motorcyclist was a good magazine, and it was an old magazine. It had been around for.
Sure.
The thing was been around since 1912.
What?
Really?
No one was
Dude.
alive then.
I
Many a
know.
moon.
That was
It was a pamphlet.
it's called
19
bicycle back then.
It was called.
They actually
Pacific
didn't have the
Motorcycling.
second wheel yet.
And I'm sure there's like a hyphen between motor and cycling.
Penny farthing.
That thing has survived. Imagine somebody gives you like this like bonsai tree, and you're like, sweet bonsai tree. And then it's like, oh yeah, so that survived like Hiroshima. It survived.
Yeah, like the bristlecone pine
It's like the
forest. You've been up
bristlecone-
there.
Yeah, so
It's like the bristlecone pine
so
forest.
don't mess it up, Chris.
Right.
You know,
I
it's
know,
only been
it's
around
terrifying.
forever.
It's
Yeah.
terrifying. It survived 2 world wars and Vietnam.
So do you feel like you're carrying the weight
Ah,
of the
lots
world
of
on
shit
your
is old.
shoulders right
Strom
now?
Thurmond was
Every
old.
day.
Who gives a shit?
And Strom Thurmond. It survived Strom Thurmond.
That's the thing. Everyone always thinks, "Oh, I want to be an editor in chief someday." Until someone gives it to you and it's like,
It is.
now you have. Now you what is it? You put on the jacket and you're the guy.
It is terrifying.
Well, like, do you know how to do editing and chiefing?
I'll
mean,
let you
honestly,
know that I did that.
Well,
I'll
so
let-
you
I mean,
made
what
a
is it?
thing.
It's-
you
yes.
did make
It's
you made one
spreadsheets.
thing.
It's memos.
It's
meetings.
spreadsheets, it's memos.
I've
it's
seen
meetings,
Patrick do it.
it's
I want
some
nothing to do
shouting.
with it.
I mean,
you
it-
couldn't pay me enough to be Patrick fucking George. Let me tell
Oh
you
my
that
god!
right
Listen,
now.
Oh my god! Just to
it's-
inhabit that
it's
body.
super satisfying. Like every now and then, we got a page in here. Yeah, I
Cold-blooded.
didn't like that one. But we got a page in here. It's just got a giant $20,000 Brembo MotoGP brake on it.
I just saw that. I just passed that page.
And it like you see that,
sidecar?
That's this, right? A
that.
page,
And
a
like you-
page on a card. Here you go. Hold, Zach. You can hold that up for that camera as well. This is a little
And, like,
shanty, but
I
we
find
got
it difficult
one
to
page.
believe anything a motorcyclist says because all the things that you guys say is insane. You're just like,
yeah, that's top fuel dirt drag racing.
No,
right?
you just
like I
threw words
trust,
together.
I trust
Fun.
no
don't
one who
believe
is
that.
Sorta.
like a person who looks at a top fuel
In
dirt
West
drag on a
Virginia.
motorcycle
It's funny
and
I
is
said
like,
that.
yeah, that makes sense.
Well,
like I
that's the
don't
thing.
trust
That's the
anything
thing.
they'll ever say ever.
You're like, it looks fun, sort of. Did you do it?
No.
Yeah. Would you do it?
No.
Do it slowly.
I'm
Yeah.
embarrassed
Like circle
to say
track.
that I don't know what this book looked like before you showed up. So did you show up and do a?
Oh, it was gorgeous.
I
before we
lucked
got
out.
there. It was
I lucked
amazing.
out. So I walked into a hot redesign. So these guys did a fantastic job of redesigning the book, and they just wanted somebody to kind of push it along, keep going. That's me.
How convenient.
Yeah, I mean, I really did luck out.
Max, is this the Max Prince I know?
That's the Max
Same
Prince you know.
Oh, great.
So-
I love Max.
Years
oh,
and
Max
years
is writing for you. Great.
of my life, yeah. And the cover story over there at Cycle World, who's our sister pub, that's Zach Bowman,
Oh,
who you've probably heard of.
who I have heard of. He's still living in a van down by the river.
No, he's gone and got himself
Did he get?
a house.
Is he a landy now?
Yeah, he's
He's one of those
he's
people.
parked the van.
He's changed.
No disrespect. It wasn't a van. It was a camper top.
It was a camper. It was a cab over,
A cab over camper
Yeah.
top.
and
yeah.
a properly fancy one.
Was it fancy?
It was fancy. It was a fancy. It was a
Fancy as
fancy thing on like a
Cap's jet.
300,000-mile old Dodge diesel, but it was fancy.
I liked reading his adventures.
Yeah,
you know?
good adventures. So
That's the
trouble
thing.
too.
Like some parts were like you're watching a descent. Of like,
Yeah.
oh, this is
I'll
not
tell you
fun.
what, like,
There
it was very
there
real.
there was a lot of
little
rough.
into the wild in that. Just a little, but
You,
know,
you like
it was
I
real
if
as
somebody
fuck, though.
said that he ate his family, like if somebody told me that, I'd be like, yeah, it was
Yeah.
going that way.
And,
it was going that way.
My daughter wandered
Wow.
into the
I
forest.
hope that
I didn't
doesn't,
stop her.
age badly.
The next day we made pancakes and hoped she came back. Just-
Yeah.
Next episode, we're gonna get Zach Bowman up, just like John Hennessy. Like, fuck those guys.
Oh man. Yeah. Yeah, there was
I
that.
forgot about that.
That was that, man.
Oh, my
Hey,
God.
I just hand the microphone to people. I don't control what they say. That's all I'm saying.
All
That's
true.
right.
This is
So we got
60
cool
minutes
stuff in here,
before.
right?
Just say,
Like, this is
yeah.
the
Yes.
history of club racing, and then we go back a couple pages.
Well, this is what I was saying. Like these road racing guys are like.
Isn't that
Talk
amazing?
closer to
That's
the
an
mic,
amazing
Raph.
shot.
You hold
Well,
the
it
mic.
is an
If you're gonna
amazing
be on
shot. It
TV,
really
you need
is.
to learn hold a fucking microphone sort of near your face.
My
This is
face.
a struggle
And
that
then
we
yes.
deal with all the time.
a little bit near your
Nine
face.
Can you
times out of
imagine
10, I'm just
living
like-
with him for like 2.5 months? Awful. in
Max
every
Prince
way.
wrote that.
Do you guys have
Oh,
to share
cool.
hotel rooms?
Thank God, no. Except
No?
one time we did because Jason joined us.
I just get a key to his hotel room and just watch him sleep. He doesn't know about it.
I mean, I do, but I pretend because it's better for him that way.
Is it Cantle? Is it weird going from writing about cars to motorcycles, or is it sort of the same kind of spiel?
It's the same kind of spiel. I've always been a 50-50 guy too, right?
Have
so,
you?
Yeah. So my first job right out of college was at Cycle World and Road and Track.
Excuse me, how do you get your first job right out of college, like doing a job that people want?
Dude, I know.
How do
I
you,
know.
How do you do?
Because like most jobs right out of college, it's like
I
you ever notice
lucked
like the
out.
Because,
LinkedIn
look,
that starts at age 35?
Cantle
Like,
walks
I
in.
know.
Cantle walks in. They go, "Holy shit, are you David Spade?" And he goes, "Yes." And
Yeah.
then they go, "Wow, we got David Spade writing for our car magazine."
Yeah.
And he just doesn't say anything.
No, like Larry Webster came on the show and told us about how he basically like stalked the offices and somehow parlayed that into an actual
Yeah.
job.
You
that was when
can.
stalking was charming back then.
I just watched the Spielberg documentary on Netflix, which is good, by the way, or maybe it's on HBO, whatever it is,
One of
Spielberg
those.
thing. He basically said he got a job at Universal by taking the tour and hopping off the tram and just wandering around until someone asked him to do things.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's
kidding
now that's
me?
how
Yeah.
you get arrested.
Gets you arrested
Have you ever
today.
seen Werner Herzog eats his shoe?
A classic.
No,
It is a
But
classic.
please tell me more.
So
Ads are violence. We must declare war on ads. I highly recommend everyone watch it. It's on YouTube.
is this
Tune
what
up.
this is? Is he fucking around? Is this really what this is?
That's legit the opening of Werner Herzog Eats a
yeah.
Show.
Really?
So Werner Herzog eats his shoe builds up to Werner Herzog eating a shoe that was cooked in duck fat.
Oh, I see what you're getting at. Yes.
It's
But,
an artisanal thing.
The reason that all came about. Oh, what's the name of that documentary director that did the Thin Blue Line and
Not Errol Morris.
Errol Morris?
Yeah.
Errol Morris basically stalked Werner Herzog. Like he kept showing up at all these Werner Herzog events and saying like, "Hey, how do you make films?" And Werner Herzog at one of these things just got so fed up with this guy. I think Errol Morris was a lawyer then. He got so fed up with this guy showing up. He's just like, "If you ever make a fucking film, I'll eat my shoe." And Werner Herzog went out and made it The Thin Blue Line
Yeah.
and won an Oscar. So Werner Herzog had to eat a shoe.
All right.
Oh, Errol Morris went
hilarious.
out and made Thin Blue Line. Sorry, you got.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Did I screw that up?
You
I
said-
probably
you
screwed
said
it up.
You said it. You said the punchline backwards, but we get it.
Do you do
I
corrections
didn't get
on
it.
this podcast?
Yeah.
Do correction?
No, we print we print the rough. We print the rough.
Yeah.
the
Anyway,
best.
the point is,
That's amazing.
stalking gets you a real long
I
way.
think it does. Like 40 years ago. I'm not sure it does now.
it absolutely does.
Wait, have you had to do your first correction yet for motorcyclist? Is it like we apologize? You know.
I don't think.
We apologize for referring to the rear tire of the new FZ10 as a Continental. In
I don't
fact,
think
it's
I'm
No,
gonna
it's
do
always
that.
got to be like Gloria Allred is actually not
Right.
a Dempster. She's a respected lawyer.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think people read it that close, right? Do people read car magazines?
Do you miss like internet comments and emails and?
No.
They read
It's
it very
great. How
Do you?
nice is it to like?
So cool.
There's
don't-
a thing, and then some people buy it, they subscribe to it, they pass it along, and then occasionally you get a couple letters by only the people eloquent enough to fucking write them.
Yeah,
old
who,
enough.
who are living in correctional facilities across this great nation of ours.
You know what's funny though? If you read
Your
like,
shit sucks. Inmate number 4326.
It is.
Clinton Correctional.
Yeah.
dude, but they print some comments in like Road and Track and Car and Driver that are not too far away from internet level of stupidity and anger. It's
Yeah.
just like barely gets over the line of we'll put this in print. And they're from like 70-year-old guys. Like I've been.
And
you
I
know,
mean that's where
subscribing
they're
to
all
this
from.
for
Yeah.
50
Like-
years, and you said bullshit twice and cancel my subscription.
every time. And everybody gets jail mail. You guys know about jail mail? Everybody
mail.
gets. Oh, I love that this is a completely foreign thing to you.
No, we don't work in print. I'm sorry. Please tell us.
If you have a fixed address, you are going to get jail mail.
Oh, really?
Right? Yeah. So I have actually on a really good poem sitting on my desk right now.
Really?
From a guy in a Pennsylvania.
Your face is
correctional
smooth.
facility.
Your skin is too.
Yeah.
I'm surprised because believe it or not, this studio address is on our website and we haven't gotten any jail mail.
Yeah,
You're
we
gonna
have a
get
fixed
jail?
address. We just,
Please, right.
It's
Smoking tire.
possible.
Do you have a smart device to listen to podcasts in jail? Is that a thing people can have these days?
I don't think so.
That's fine.
No, probably
I'm fine
not.
with that.
Because you can take it
We
down
should
and
do
make a knife
cassette
out of it.
tape version of the podcast for
Right. I just imagine
that's-
all those dudes sitting there with their
for the
like
Shawshank Library.
1980s high school cans on
that's
their
the
head.
thing, though.
Right?
When we were doing this show, Fusion was like, "You guys should tell people exactly where you are so they can come and watch." And I'm like, "I'm gonna die."
Yeah, no,
Like,
no.
You won't. No, you won't die. You're gonna get a bunch of somewhat shy, usually friendly people that'll just stand there awkwardly.
Oh, yeah,
and
that's
then
usually how it
between
is.
a take, they'll go, "Hey, how's it going?" And then what do you think about?
No. That's usually
Those
how
are
it
our
is.
guests, actually, on the show.
Yeah.
You could speak eloquently about this.
So,
and they're like,
so
"I
you said you liked the new
cars."
Corvette, but what'd you really think? And you're like, I liked it.
Yeah, they always want to know what you really think when they meet
Yeah.
you. Because they don't. Whatever you said in the video, that's not real.
Somebody
No, I-
paid you to say
yeah.
that.
Really
Yeah.
think?
I've
Somebody
been
paid
waiting
you to
for
say
someone
that.
to ask me this. I've been hiding it so long. What I really think.
But I'm gonna tell you.
Yes.
I have a pre-programmed answer for that question, which is very simple. It's a piece of shit.
Right?
Yeah.
That's all. It's like, what do you really think? It's a piece of shit.
I really want to.
Really? Yeah.
Stunts on a motorcycle.
It's
is a special kind of
$440,000.
Yeah, I mean, it got worse. When I used to, back in my previous life, speaking of first jobs out of college, I would cover finance, and you'd get guys calling you like, "Tell me what really happened." I'm like, "Oh my god, insider trading! I wasn't gonna do it, but now."
I'm fresh out of college, but I know what really went down.
I know.
I was
Yeah.
there with Greenspan and the Federal Reserve. They told me. I
Call
won't
up the
know.
22-year-old. He's got the tips. Great idea.
Well, I watched that What the Health movie. You've seen that one?
What's
We've
this one?
heard about it.
What the Health? It's like a documentary with it is.
Are
in
you on a
theory,
documentary kick
on
at
the
the moment,
surface?
Farrah?
I watch a lot of documentaries. On the surface, it explores that how unhealthy meat is for you.
Okay.
But what it really does is it slowly whirlpools you down the vegan drain.
So
From
by
a
the time you're like
from a
so far in,
big
you
lake,
can't escape.
you know, and they start with, oh, there's carcinogens in meat, and then in the middle movie they start talking about a predominantly plant-based diet, and then in the last 10 minutes of the movie you hear the word vegan for the first time. Right? So
are
it
you
just-
going green on us? Is that what you're trying to
Fuck
say?
no.
I'm the healthy
but
lifestyle.
in the
now.
movie, this guy who is the Morgan Spurlock of this movie is one of the most hateable people you've ever seen. But he basically calls up like the FDA and the American Cancer Society and basically berates like operators about like, why is there meat on your recommended recipes website? Blah. But like the operator,
I like to do that.
Let me transfer you to somebody that actually answers questions. full time.
As a
We're
pastime, I
talking
like to-
about being white and angry right now.
Yeah, as a
you know.
pastime, I like to call up low-salaried wage workers and just yell at them. That's clearly what makes people feel good. Yeah. Solves problems.
Raph.
I nominate you
Yeah.
for the Republican Party. Nomination.
Just put him on voicemail. It's fine.
Oh boy, who's been driving anything good? Anyone been driving anything good?
Everything's. I'm driving.
Are you only driving
motorcycles.
bikes now?
Everything's good.
Are you out of the car game entirely and bikes
No,
only?
I'm still doing cool stuff. So I got a story coming up. Actually, it's out right now on Automobile, which is beautiful. That was a Bowman adventure.
Automobile's been hiring some good people recently.
Automobile's
Yeah,
got some
hiring
good stuff.
kick.
And then
hiring
me.
people.
So Bowman and I drove the length of the Mexican border
In what?
in a big Dodge. Let me show
Like
you a
a
photo.
Ram Runner thing?
Wait.
Along
Were
the
you
wall?
were you going to see the wall?
We the entire length. Of
You drove the
where
whole
it goes-
length?
The
Did
whole
you,
length.
Did you make
Nice.
a map of what was walled and unwalled?
Did you see the
No.
need for it to be see-through in case a bag of drugs falls on your head?
Hey, it could happen.
I gotta
heard
tell
it
you-
on the news.
That was one of the best ones. We're gonna make it clear. Okay.
Just in case.
You fucking delusional fuck. We're gonna make it clear.
It's gonna be like a racquetball court. The
Guys,
world's
it'll
biggest
be a
racquetball.
one-way mirror just like at the Miss Universe contest. They can't see us, but we can see them. Am I right, guys?
Trust me, guys. I've done
Right?
it before. It always
It
works.
works. It works.
So you want to
It's
see the
funny
kind of
because
mess.
it's disgusting.
It's funny because
Oh no. Well, I'm
gonna be
sorry
great.
the audience. Well, you can hold this up to the camera. It's ghetto, but they.
Or you can
it
just
seems
go out and
they
get a copy
beached
of
the fucking
Automobile.
Ram. We'll give them a teaser.
found the
camera.
Promote
Yeah,
the thing
so-
for fuck's sake.
There you
That's
go.
a beached Ram.
To the frame rails.
Yeah,
I don't think Bowman could
it's-
even open the
it's
door.
Straight floating on the frame.
How and what?
You want to hear a funny
From
story?
that
So-
picture, I can infer that you're bad at off-roading.
Right. So Bowman's driving.
Looks fine. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Bowman's got some off-road chops, but not. He's never been in like deep sugary sand before, and this was
Right.
especially deep sugary glamis sand before. And
Oh, it's
not a lot of
glamis?
people know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the border.
Wait, are we
So
having
you
a
didn't make it that
geology
far.
lesson?
Yeah.
Glamis
See, this
sand.
is the thing about
Oh,
people who
Glamis is the
drive
place?
cars for a living. Every day of their lives is training them to believe, like, I have no experience in doing this, but I'll probably do it and it'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
And
Yeah.
it's,
It'll be fine.
it's not.
It's capable enough to get me out of this mess. So we go
You
to.
just have to do it on TV. You don't have to do it for real.
The guy's got chops, but it was a funny. All right, so it's especially sugary that day. It's really deep, and we go up, and Bowman does your typical thing. We go over a little a hillock, and we look down the other
Sorry,
side.
what was that word?
A hillock, and
Fuck is a hillock?
A little hill.
He's starting to use words. I don't like them.
This
Is that like a-
this is
like
what
a
you get to do
hillet?
if you're publishing magazines, gentlemen.
hillock?
Yeah.
Hey
So,
man, the wall is
A
supposed to
berm,
keep out
a
multi-syllable words.
A dunette.
Monosyllabic only. After
So
this
the wall
goes
goes
up.
through this incredible duny area. We call it Glamis, but it's like the Imperial Sand Dunes. It's anyway. The wall has to float on these giant. They look like kind of rowboats, right? So the wall has to float above the dune. And so we're going to go and take a look at this because it's weird, right? The wall they have to kind of dig it out and
Because the
drag it
dunes change
around.
all the time with the wind.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And
But I
it's
imagine
like-
that sand's also extremely deep.
it's super. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, millions of feet. I have
You
no
ever seen
idea.
Princess
At
Bride?
least 4 inches deep.
So
Because
So
if,
deep.
if I'm not mistaken, a
I'm a
sand dune is
scientist.
mostly sand. So
Sand
it's
dune's
pretty
mostly
deep,
I've
right?
heard that. Yeah, I'm not
So
sure.
we hit the top of this thing. We make a right turn, and the thing just done. It digs in, and Bowman, if the thing's already low, Bowman puts his foot on the gas a little bit, and it just spins. And we're like, oh god! It's later in the afternoon. There's nobody out there. I get out and I take a look, and it's like it's kind of bad.
Yeah.
And these guys on ATVs pull up. And so we go in and we attach a winch line to it, and we kind of drop one of the ATVs down the other side of the dune. It's going to be like a big sand anchor.
Yeah.
And we start cranking on the winch, and we're just reeling in the ATV.
Yeah.
And so Bowman puts his
Sand anchor is an adorable term for something that
Yeah.
weighs 400 pounds.
yeah, not nearly enough anchor. So we weigh anchor. Bowman puts his thumb on the little winch gadget. I'm taking photos. I'm completely out of this thing.
Yeah.
Bowman puts
You're
his
doing
foot on
the real
gas.
work.
Yeah.
Woof, spins, and we're like, that's not gonna happen. We're gonna have to dig this thing out. So I go to talk to the ATV guys, and I turn around, and the truck has just been sitting there idling.
Wait. There are ATV guys. Do they not have like a tow rope or something?
We got a tow rope. That's no problem.
Oh, okay.
Tow rope we got.
Yeah.
Mass we don't have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So
We-
your
a bulldozer we don't have.
Yeah.
so your
So the
truck,
truck is
idled itself into an even deep.
the truck is
It
just
idled
sitting
in
there.
drive?
Yeah, yeah. Bowman's got in drive, and he'd never been in sand before, right? So he's just sitting
Has
there.
he been in a parking lot? Stop.
You didn't think it wasn't going anywhere. So he's just sitting there,
hilarious.
and the thing and I'm like, Bowman, no, stop, waving my arms above
That's
my head,
amazing.
and I kind of see him look up at me, and like, it's spinning
Oh my god.
with my hand. I say it's spinning, and the next thing you know, and the thing just trenches itself to the frame rails,
Yeah.
and it's done.
I was surprised he didn't notice himself just slowly sinking lower.
No,
and
you
lower.
don't know.
like a toad in
you
water,
gotta try
you know?
it.
There's like
you
no
gotta
frame
try
of
it.
reference on
Yeah,
the sand. It's
you
weird.
gotta. It's the weirdest thing in the world. It takes doing, right?
Yeah.
And Bowman's like a knee deep red mud guy, not a sand guy.
Sure.
Yeah.
Which might get
You're
me
like
in trouble.
sinking
But
is sinking. He's like, oh, excuse me.
Anyone who knows been stuck in the mud in Alabama knows one wheel spins, the other does nothing. No.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Bowman's
Like a
dead
mini.
now. He's left in the desert,
right.
and that was it. Anyway,
You
he
should
had
go
a
and
good
check this
run,
thing out.
but
It's pretty
we
cool.
appreciate him. R.I.P. forever.
it's pretty cool. So the border goes on forever. It's 2,000 something miles. It's beautiful. There's beautiful places. Nobody goes down there, right? I mean, it's true. I mean,
it's a fucking surprise.
it's a topic of conversation constantly in this country.
True.
Yeah.
The border, right?
no one's there.
Nobody goes down there.
It's almost like there's something like a cloud of sadness which hangs over this
And
this
it's almost,
zone of
it's
beauty.
almost like it's a topic of conversation that has very little actual basis in reality.
Yeah,
Almost.
and the basis in
Almost.
reality is like there's dudes down there having perfectly nice days, feet away from the border. There's families talking to each other across it. No big deal. Yeah. There's a bunch of national park country that goes right through it, including one of our biggest and best, where there's a river going straight through the national park. Two giant, I mean, we're talking like 200-foot tall.
Which park is it?
It's
Is it Big Bend?
Big Bend.
Oh, Big Bend.
And it's the Rio Grande.
And then
that
there's
goes
like
through there.
another one, I think, too.
Yeah. And there's also the Barry M. Goldwater bombing range.
Naturally.
Ooh.
So you can go and get targeted by a laser.
Really?
Exciting.
Yeah, there's giant warnings saying like laser targeting everywhere you go. Cow skulls, thinking. Oh,
There's a great like briefcase exchange program I've seen where they
yeah.
share briefcases across the border back and forth.
Yeah.
The other week, Raph and I went up to Canada. That was scary.
Yeah. That's
you get
another
there.
place we need a
Hard-hitting journalism. Right
Trans-
there.
Well, they're so
Yeah.
nice. You're like, what do you want? What are you trying to do here?
They were like, "What are you trying to do here?" And we're like, "Get dinner." And they're like, "Okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
just
sure.
go right here. The duty
I
free's over there."
recommend. I recommend this place.
Yeah.
Have fun. Welcome to our country. Enjoy yourself.
There used to be an annual at the Detroit Auto Show. There was an annual trip to the strip clubs across the.
Yeah, that's
Still,
I'm sure that's
a lot of
still
those,
a running
yeah.
thing. So
Yeah, you
all
go
these
right
guys
to
would come
Windsor.
back from Canada, like 2:00 in the morning, covered in glitter, and the person at the border would just be like, "Where are you coming from?" And everybody's like, "Cheetahs." They just get waved through.
Don't tell them that. You lie to the border patrol. And you tell
yeah.
them,
Actually,
Arts
lying
and-
to the
arts
border
and
patrol
crafts.
tell them you
always
were,
works.
you tell them you were
never goes
scoping a
wrong.
glitter factory. You haven't been drinking.
we had arts and
That's where
crafts
Jack
night.
Bruce got arrested. It was great. Banned from
Wait,
Canada
wait.
for life.
Wait. That
Yeah.
time? How many times?
Well, I mean the reason he
other than
was
that
thrown
other
out of
time.
Canada is because he's a convicted felon.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why he was thrown out of Canada.
Okay.
But he wouldn't have been thrown out of Canada if me, Mark, Jack, Charlie, Sam Smith.
This is like
and
murderer's row. of,
Someone
like,
else.
Heavy hitters.
We tried to go over the border 6 up in an Impala. Mark Baruth being the only sober one driving, the rest of us completely rocket fuel drunk.
Oh yeah.
Was it a
didn't
new
fu-
Impala
they
or an
didn't
old
fu-
Impala?
A new Impala. Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
The new front-wheel drive Impala, which is actually a much nicer car than you guessed.
Available
Why?
now with 0%
Why?
financing.
Why is it a nicer car?
No.
Why do we have it?
Yeah.
Because someone rented one. Mark Baruth really
That's
likes
the
renting
only
them.
reason why anyone should have an Impala.
Yeah,
I don't
as a
care
rental
if the
car.
new one's nicer.
No, you don't buy one. But
No,
as a rental
nobody
car, it's
buys
lovely.
one. Yeah.
But they didn't take kindly to our shenanigans.
Oh.
Imagine.
That became a problem.
Go on.
I had to give Jack and Charlie my hotel room at the Renaissance Center in Detroit because they couldn't go back to Canada. I then took the Impala, went and cleaned out their Canadian hotel room, brought their things back to America for them.
in Canada
Yeah, they were already there. They got kicked out. They were already there. Yeah, they were already there. And then I brought their Canadian things back to them in Detroit, and then I went back to Canada with Sam Smith, and we took their hotel room. Travis Akulski was the other person that was made 6 up in the Impala.
Oh my God.
Dude, it was crazy. It was one of those situations where they have that soundproof glass,
Yes.
and you could see Jack yelling at the border patrol person through the
You
glass.
could see the glass
but it
moving
was
a little.
silent. It was like, I am afraid to go back. It was like one of those. He had a cane because his leg was fucked up. He was waving it like it was crazy. It was.
I was
crazy.
Was his
told
leg
by
fucked up from the
AppleCare
Crown Vic?
that I could cross this border.
Bro, they were not about it. Whatever it is that we were doing, the Canadians did not find funny.
I mean, that's always border patrol. Raph went 3 feet past the border guard post, and the guy just opens the
Okay.
little window, and he just looks at Raph and goes, "What are you doing?"
That was weird. They had a thing where
It
there
seemed
was
inviting.
a lot. Anyway, it was very confusing at the time.
Anyways,
Always
there
been
was
the
a stop
problem
sign.
with border
Raph just went
patrols.
right
They
there.
have no sense of humor.
Yeah.
None.
They
That's
don't
fine.
like
That's
it.
their
And
job.
you would think you would, because especially through that one, like Detroit, Windsor, it's like
Yeah.
8 billion cars a day.
Yeah, and when I come back
Eventually,
from like,
shenanigans would happen. But
It's the best
For
people
sure,
watching
that
on the
one, yeah.
planet.
when I come
that
back from a
border.
trip, they're like, "Did you have any fruits or vegetables?" And I'm like, "That depends. Is a kilo of cocaine a fruit or vegetable?" And they're like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "No." And they're like, "Don't say things like that."
no, you're like, they're like, "Are you serious?" And you're like, "No." And then they're like, "Get out of the car."
Yeah.
That's what happened in Canada.
Yeah,
Pretty
Yeah.
much. Pretty much.
When we went there for All Cars Go to Heaven, we pull up and the car's got the exhaust strapped to the roof, and the
Yeah.
windshield wipers won't stop. And the guy like looks in the car, he goes, looks at the top, he goes, "If you shut the car off, will it turn on again?" And we go, "No." And he goes, "Okay." I leave that running, and then he just walks, takes our stuff and walks away, and comes back. He's like, "So how long are you planning to be here?" And we're like, 20 minutes. We're gonna go shoot a thing. He goes, "Okay, don't get on the highway." We're like, we walk on the highway. He's like, "Okay."
Really? Because most of the time, I feel like if you try to cross a border with a clearly demented car, they'll be like, "You're looking to abandon this."
That's
hero."
actually,
was what they
that's
were
exactly
about.
the thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were like, we're going to film this
There's
conclusion
a
and
body
come
in the
right
trunk.
back. And I'm sure they set a timer that was like, if we
They
don't
made
see
us
these dudes,
promise that we would be leave Canada with that car within an hour.
I better not see you guys walking across this border.
Yeah.
Actually, it doesn't matter now because nothing happened. But we actually had to stash a rifle. Remember that? We had to stash a rifle.
Air rifle, but yes.
We had well, we didn't want to cross the border with it, so we stashed it like a couple hundred yards from the border, like behind a tree, and then went back for it like in an hour.
It's like a BB gun, but with Canada, who knows? So
Yeah.
yeah, we did that.
That's why I'll never try to cross the border with my Yugo. I'll never let it in.
I love your Yugo. Can I drive? Did you put Recaros in that thing? Or did it come with those
Jamexes,
seats?
please. Recaro is too rich for my blood.
I saw a picture of it. They look like Recaros.
Jamexes.
Was that Chinese Recaros?
Nah, they were like, we got them off of this like 80s Mercedes
Really?
like collector
Yeah.
guy, and he was just like, they were like vintage Recaro knockoffs of the day. So he was
From
like,
the
Oh, you
90s.
don't
He's like-
understand.
Yeah.
These
he's
are
like, I've got
period
my
knockoffs.
He's got like, I've got my 560 SEC. I always was gonna fit these in, but like, I can only keep so many of these projects going, and I've got to sell them. We're like, all right,
They
they're
look
going
kinda
into
nice
Yugo.
and comfy.
They're
Actually,
extremely comfy. You should drive it.
I should.
I mean, you just have to come to New York because it's not really going anywhere.
Yeah.
Because all it needs is cooling, suspension, and brakes. That's it.
who works on that thing?
My long-suffering friend Jesse, who is way better at all of this.
If you drive it in the winter, does it not need cooling addressed anymore?
Well, that's the thing. This is why I can't bang on this table, but this is why
I
Freddie
know you
Hernandez,
want to. It's hard to not do it.
Freddie Hernandez, I will murder that man because he did give it to me in February. He's like, it's fine.
You can't blame Freddie for that.
I blame Freddie for a lot of things in my life at this point.
You can blame him for many things, but I'm
Yeah.
not sure that's his problem.
When I
Well,
bought,
no, he
when
gave
I-
it to me. Now it's my problem.
When I bought my Miata, it was backed into a spot, so when I drove it for a test drive, I pulled straight out, and I never reversed the car. And if I had, I would have noticed it made a terrible, weird sound when I backed up.
That's why they backed it in.
Yeah, that clever bastard.
Yo, reverse is a really good gear. You
For-
don't
Your
appreciate
car
it
can
until
never
it's gone.
Wow, you should be a professional car writer with insight like that.
Reverse is a really good gear.
You never think about it. Reverse, it's good. It's useful for a lot of things.
You don't know
like
you
going
need it
backwards.
until
I
you
had
have a car
reverse.
without it.
You know, it just made clunking noises.
Wait,
for
actually, do you remember last winter?
See, I had a car with no reverse, and that was a real
like last winter,
exercise. And
It was like maybe the last month or two that you had that Baja Bug and you drove it to my apartment and you were trying to parallel park it and I had to get out and push you backwards and there was a woman standing there laughing at us the entire time.
She's right.
Yeah, that was your car.
Well, now you're on TV, so ha!
yes,
Ha.
You still have that car?
I sold that car for $500 to a like some auto tech in training in Long Island.
What'd you pay for it?
What I pay for it?
Yeah.
$1,500.
I mean, I think you got $1,000 worth of fun out of that thing.
I spent significantly more than $1,000 on that heap.
Did you?
Yeah, Raph, how much have you spent on your current Volkswagen Beetle?
Is the one I saw in the film is that yours?
Yes.
It is.
Yeah, you
I
saw
s-
the.
I saw
the
your I saw your
second
show.
episode.
I don't know if I'm supposed to say that or not.
Say
I don't want to
whatever
get
you
anyone in
want.
trouble.
It's fine.
No, I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I saw the Yugo versus Beetle.
That's
it
an
was
insult,
good.
Yes, you did.
sir.
I enjoyed it.
That episode is also not complete.
I was told it was a rough cut.
Yes.
Which is fine. There was it was a rough cut, but even
We're
as
doing a
rough cut, it was
CGI
fine.
scene that's going to be inserted.
Where
Does it
they
look like
run-
How to Train Your Dragon right about at the 22-minute mark?
Don't worry about it.
It was good. It was a fun show. You guys had some fun lines and stuff. Kristen didn't talk much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that the going from a rougher cut to a fuller cut. We're gonna be like,
I love
hey,
Kristen.
our
She was-
coworker, can she
was
have
great on
like
the podcast.
see
She was-
talk in this
she was-
one?
She was there for a reason.
To talk, hopefully.
Yeah.
Not to just be quiet.
Yeah, she's going to be in more, I think. In that.
It is a fun show though. It looks
giving me a
exactly
weird
like you
look.
expect Jalopnik TV to look.
Yeah.
It's a little rough, a little vicey, like in the style.
Don't insult me, sir.
Thin
It's
ties,
good.
checkered shirts, that kind of.
Yes, precisely.
It's not overly produced.
We
Like
spend the
our
whole
show,
time
they like
upside
to make
down.
it epic. Whoa, drone shot. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, on our show, they have no
shit.
money. So
We thought we had no
That's the
money
thing.
until we saw the budget of your show.
that's the thing. People, we would tell people we're like coming to like see whatever, and they'd be like, "All right, do you have $10,000?" And I'm like, people don't understand the budget for our TV show. Each individual episode is less money than our online videos.
Yes.
Like
Wow,
that's not an
really?
exaggeration.
That's a problem.
You said it, not me.
That's a problem.
You
It
said
is.
it, not
That's
me,
a tough
right?
thing to reconcile.
It's really it doesn't make TV sound good.
No, the budget for my online videos is 0, which is great.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's actually, if you amortize it, it's like a fifth of a sandwich and a gallon of gas.
But I mean, no. But this comes from our philosophy. Like, do you remember Top Gear? Top Gear was good when they had no money.
I
When they-
actually completely agree with you. That's why the Grand Tour is not good.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
they have all the yeses and all the money, and
Yes.
by not having an antagonizing producer as an enemy that restricted their budget and gave them crap, they're not able to be as creative.
Yeah, so for us, we were like, we want nothing. Give us nothing and make us hate ourselves.
You're like
Then
artists
you'll-
in a basement.
Yeah.
You're like, I just
Then
want
you'll
to
get
You live in a
television
van
gold.
in the Detroit Auto Show
We
for
did.
like 5 days.
That did happen.
I also blame.
That was the reason why the show came about.
Is it from that?
We had a new video. This was ages ago, so this was like a year ago.
I remember you had a very lovely coat.
Oh, my
You
custom,
remember
my
because
custom
you-
coat. Yeah,
because
yeah.
you
It
wanted
wasn't
it?
nearly warm enough for that freezing ass Detroit
No, but
winter,
you
but it
looked
looked cool as
great.
fuck. Yeah,
That was a hard week.
yeah. You lived in a van.
Roselli was
tough.
crying at the end of it.
He almost cried.
Timmy, there's a picture of those guys, of Jalopnik at the Detroit Auto Show living in a van.
Can I just
that's
say,
hilarious.
this is also, now that you have to deal with Hardigree, bless his soul, his whole pitch for that, like, that was not our idea. His whole pitch was like, you guys gonna live in a van.
Well, that's the antagonizing producer thing.
And we were
no,
like-
but we were like, okay, then what happens? He goes, no, that's it.
Nothing. That's the whole story.
You're like, this is miserable.
First, you're gonna be miserable, and then
no
you're
one
going
will
And
to
then the
watch it.
video's
Continue
over.
to be
After that, that's
miserable.
it.
And if we're lucky, 7,000 or 8,000 people will look.
Yes.
What kind of van was it?
Sprinter, right?
I had a Ford Transit, Transit Connect.
Oh, you had
You
your
were
own
you were
vans.
living in your own van.
Oh shit!
Oh.
I
Yes.
thought you were in a van
That's
together.
ridiculous.
Are you kidding
No,
me?
oh god, no.
Nah.
He filled his with Ninja Turtles crap too.
I remember you had Ninja
I made a
Turtles.
blanket for it.
He did. He
Why
made
do
a
you
fort.
crap like
he
a
made
Ninja
Ninja Turtles
Turtle?
fort.
The what?
Yeah.
I said, why do you crap like a Ninja Turtle?
Why do I
Speak towards the microphone.
Why do I
You
crap
guys
like
are.
a
You
Ninja
guys,
Turtle?
you guys keep turning away from the microphone. Oh look, there's your video. We can now play videos in
What?
in our.
Impossible.
Wait,
Oh,
were the
it's
vans,
the,
were the
it's
vans
the
parked inside or outside?
State
They
of
were
Awesome
inside.
Pantera.
All right.
They were living in the.
So it wasn't cold. It was just uncomfortable a little bit.
I didn't mind
This
it at
does
all.
not sound
it was
like the-
totally fine. I don't know. Like Balaban was complaining the whole time.
who
First of all,
cried?
he had a bigger van.
No,
and
it was miserable. It was awful.
it was totally fine. It was the
awful in
best
every way.
commute I've ever had. I stepped out of where I was sleeping,
Yes.
and then I was
You
at
were
work.
correct.
It was actually really great.
It was
Correct.
so horrible. This
No.
is what I mean. Like,
No, it's not. Here's you
Raph's
want
got
horrible.
something wrong
Here's
with his
horrible.
head.
I filmed the King of Hammers for Big Muscle, and when we were driving there, we were told we were gonna have a trailer staying with this race team, and they got us all set up. Awesome. We get there. There is a trailer for us. It is a closed car trailer with no amenities whatsoever.
Yeah, it's
And
just
we're
a box.
sleeping on. It's a box with
There's your
wood.
box.
And they put a propane heater in it for us to use. It got too cold, and we're like, we're not gonna do that because we'll die. 2 a.m. It's too cold, and we turned on a flaming propane heater. We cracked the door, and we're like, we can't fall asleep. And an hour later, we fell asleep, and we all woke up at dawn.
now
Thankfully,
you're dead.
we did that 2 days in a row, motherfucker.
But they might not have. Like they. Really,
You had a climate-controlled van. You,
No,
you
the
had a
van wasn't
cubicle.
running. You couldn't run the
No,
van.
I know. It
right?
was climate-controlled
No,
by the building.
we could not run the van to any.
Yeah,
oh,
but
and
it wasn't even that
oh,
cold.
and I
We
don't
were
know if
in
you've
a
seen
building.
a van. A lot of glass. Everyone's like walking past while I'm like changing my underwear, going like, "What is this?" person
Changing
doing?
underwear.
They're
He means
tapping on the
jerking
glass
off.
like you're fish.
Look, I thought we use euphemisms on this podcast.
So I thought too, and then I just out with it.
You were adjusting your you were adjusting pistons or something.
Yeah,
like that.
exactly. That's
Yeah.
exactly what was happening.
I mean, it's not great, but it's not
The best
terrible.
stories, though, right? I mean, it's everybody. The best stories are the ones where you're
The
just
really
like you're just
uncomfortable ones.
smoldering. You guys know Max Prince,
Yeah,
my favorite guy, right? So we sent
Very
Max
good looking.
Prince.
It really makes me mad.
You called me David
Prince
Spade.
by name,
I look
Prince by
exactly like
reputation.
Max Prince, and you call me David Spade.
I've never seen Max Prince.
He
Uh,
looks
he's a
exactly.
little- he's a
Imagine
little
me
more
a little
handsome.
taller and more
Imagine
handsome.
A little more handsome, if I'm honest.
No, it's true, and he's
imagine
got
him,
more
but
hair.
better in
But he's also
every
younger.
way.
And
Give
younger,
him
and
give him a
younger,
real job,
yeah.
and he'll lose his hair, and he'll look just like me. Max Prince, we sent him when I was a. What look at this.
I said it's
what
not far
happens.
off.
Yeah,
I
it's
said
not-
you were
Yeah,
agreeing
I
with
thought
you.
you said fuck off.
No, I said that's not far off. Yeah,
So
yeah.
we sent Max when I was at Road and Track. We sent Max to cover the SEMA show, and the only mandate he had was to see all of it.
Oh,
Right?
Ugh.
I
Misery.
can't think of
The
anything
very
worse.
worst thing, and he's
I've
like,
been there. I
Okay,
can't-
like,
Episode is sponsored by
Like-
Dr. Scholl's and New Balance.
and 18,000 drill press companies
Yeah.
that are just there, and they're really proud of their. They make
So
a great product.
he
but-
goes swinging into it. Yeah, and they've got somebody to show you
Yeah.
exactly what their drill press
that's
does
the
with
thing.
all the other
People
ones.
think SEMA's all like crazy cars.
It's
Absolutely
no,
not.
no, Mostly
it's
not.
Chinese tires.
Yeah.
Have you, the guy I feel the worst for at SEMA is well, A, the videographer that has to carry around a shoulder rig. B, the guy who mounts and unmounts the same tire 500 times
That's
a
rough.
day.
Yeah.
I got a
World
worse
One
one
League.
for you.
What's the
So
worst job
we're
at
2
SEMA?
days in, and there's this woman who obviously like has one job, and it's to demonstrate how effective this brake cleaner is.
Oh, no.
And she drops in her rotor, and it splashes into her eye. And we're sitting there, and Max and I are like, whoa, that's gotta burn some. And she's trying to do the rest of her demonstration.
Oh, you gotta go to the eye flush
I
station.
know, she keeps doing the.
What are you doing?
It's not worth it.
I keep
It's
saying
not
SEMA's
worth it.
miserable.
The next
So
day, she's
that's-
a pirate.
Oh, SEMA's terrible.
worst, yeah.
That's day 2, right?
Yeah.
And I told Max, like he didn't
This
remember.
is Tuesday.
I tell Max, I'm with you for 2 days, and like he's only 2 hauls in.
Wait.
And he
You
doesn't-
actually went with him.
Yeah, I was shooting it.
See, no, because if you want someone to truly be miserable, they got to go alone.
They have to go
I left
alone.
him. So I left him. I'm like, all right, I'll be there with you for like another hour in the morning, then I'm gone.
Yeah.
And I just watch Max melt. Like
Yeah.
he realized I'm going to be in here alone with all the assholes on mobility scooters running over my foot. I'm going to be here looking at the other 2 halls where it just gets more Chinese wheels-y. And he's just and he packed for 2 days.
Yeah.
So the third day
Naturally.
he's going to be wearing his
Sweaty
cleanest
bag
shirt.
of Titus. This is
Yeah.
a known diagnosis that happens at SEMA approximately
Yeah.
Wednesday.
So
Yeah,
I'm
sweaty
feeling
bag
bad
of
for Max.
Titus.
I'm like, Max, I'm going to go and get you an In-N-Out hamburger. And he's like, well, it makes me feel a little better. So we go and get an In-N-Out hamburger. And Max is like, hey, thanks for taking me to get a sandwich. Like, it does make me feel a little better. He takes a bite out of it, and this tomato drops onto his one clean shirt.
See, but even then, I think you were too
Sucks
nice
to
to
be
him because,
Max.
like, you should have to not just go to SEMA alone, but go to Vegas alone. Because going to
It's-
Vegas alone is a special
I'm about
experience.
to do that this year. I've been to SEMA in 3 years.
don't
and
have
I
to,
did a
you know.
gig this year. I'm happy to do the gig, and it's going to be a fun gig. But like, they're flying me in about 12 hours before I need to be there, and they were like, "You can stay and check out the show at the end of the day." I'm like, "What time's the gig done? 1? Better get me on about a 2:30. About a 2:30.
Yeah.
I got it.
Well,
We can
'cause-
get you on like a 7. Like, better get me on a 2:30.
Yeah,
Seven,
but like
2:37,
going
yeah.
to Vegas alone, it's like going to a nightclub alone. Like people are looking
Stop.
at you like they don't know what's wrong.
Balaban has weird stories, you guys.
I got tasered at one, but that was at CES.
You
not
get
SEMA.
tasered?
At CES, not
Yeah.
SEMA.
CES is crazy. I went to CES for the first time this year, and it's actually I think it's even crazier than SEMA in terms of
Yes.
like male nerddom and like
I mean, there's just so much more money involved. Like SEMA's
Yeah.
huge industry, but like you put tech in there, and all of a sudden it's
well,
like
CES is more like I understand the market for like headers for a Tri-5 Chevy and like all that kind of stuff
Sure.
and Chinese tires and all that and LED lights and it all kind of makes sense. CES is like everything is the newest, greatest, craziest. It's
The
not
future.
Like, it's not the guy who's been selling these headers for 30 years and has a booth every year and that's the guy. It's like you need connected socks. This sock transmits to your smartphone all your foot odor information, your sweat levels. You know what I mean? It's just like, holy
it
shit,
might
the world does
someday
not need
detect
this
cancer.
trash. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Foot cancer's a
Well,
real
if they
issue.
focus on that instead of like this sock tells your body temperature and like if I'm cold I
Yeah.
put more shit on and like oh that's true.
Yeah.
although SEMA was way more racist.
It is.
Yeah.
It is great
Yeah,
for the
it
racists.
is.
Yeah,
I hate
yeah.
to laugh at that, but that's true.
Yes. And
mean-
it's just they just offer it to you people there.
I hate, you
Don't talk politics there.
hate to combine muscle cars and racism, but there has to be,
Yeah.
some kind of.
Oh no!
association.
For me, it wasn't even muscle cars. It was let's just say an unnamed automotive lighting company CEO who just like offered it to me.
Automotive lighting company?
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I don't know about this one, but let me. Just take a whack at it. Was it Phantom Lights? It
No,
was.
no.
Black versus white lighting. Is that what it is?
Basically. This was back when I was
Could
covering
have seen this
business.
coming.
End of the darkness
Best joke
LLC.
on the show.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen Heil LED strips? They are amazing. They are so white. No, that was
But
brutal.
this is back when I was covering business, and I asked the guy if he was looking for outside investment. And he goes, "You mean like Mexicans?" I was like,
Whoa.
"Exactly." I was like,
I wasn't
That
going.
is
What?
not what I meant, sir.
"This is
at
what I
all.
mean about
He
like
would've
it's
said
just
that.
offered."
He would have said that to anything. I
Yeah.
feel like that was just the tip of his tongue. Like,
No.
Do you want something to drink? You mean like Mexicans?
Well, that's the thing. And I was like, "No, that's not what I mean." He's like, "Good, because absolutely not." I was like, "Whoa."
Fuck, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Did you have a tan?
Uh,
Were you,
Me?
Not
Were you
possible.
wearing-
I'm the
not
pastiest human
physically
being on
possible.
Were you
earth.
wearing a rolled up flannel with a tan and boots? I mean, I don't know. Was there some confusion happening there?
I turn a nice hue of red.
That is
Just lobster.
very odd.
Yeah, you get are you Irish, Scottish.
A little bit
German?
of neither. No.
Which white? How white are you exactly?
I mean, if you want to go there, we're going to be on this podcast a long time.
We-
Are Jews white?
Are you Jew?
Oh God.
I mean, yeah, that's
You
why.
are a very white Jew.
Oh, you should have seen. You should have seen the
pale.
very
I didn't
first
know,
episode.
when I grew up, I
You
didn't
could
know
hear
there
it.
were redheaded Jews.
There are a couple.
There's one, and he can pick up the red key. That's why.
He's
the chosen.
Got it.
Yeah, that's why we were originally going to call the show "Racing Jews," because our mothers love our chosen profession.
How do you pronounce? Is it race and Jews or race and Jews?
A little bit of both.
It was
Play it either way.
Different show.
different show.
It's
Wow.
Race
Fucking hell.
and Jews.
That's
Is
why
it-
we went immediately for a show, North Carolina skid plate.
Is it break a clock? Is that what you're pointing at, Timmy? I think so too. It's the 2 beer break a clock.
Okay.
All right, we will be back. We're gonna sell some advertisements to keep the lights on in this bitch, even though they fluorescent tubes. They don't cost much.
This episode of the Smoking Tire Podcast is brought to you by ZipRecruiter. In need of great talent for your business, but short on time, you don't have to get lost in a huge stack of resumes to find your perfect hire. You just need the right tools, smarter tools. With ZipRecruiter, you can post your job to over 100 of the world's leading job boards with just one click, so you can rest easy knowing your job is being seen by the right candidates. Then ZipRecruiter puts its smart matching technology to work, actively notifying qualified candidates about your job within minutes of posting, so you receive the best possible matches. That's why ZipRecruiter is different. Unlike other hiring sites, ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on the right candidates finding you, it finds them. No wonder 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. And the easy-to-use ZipRecruiter dashboard lets you manage your hiring process from start to finish all in one place. ZipRecruiter is the smartest way to hire. And right now, my listeners can post jobs on ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, people. It's free. It's all free. ZipRecruiter.com/smoke. ZipRecruiter.com/smoke. Try it for free using ZipRecruiter.com/smoke. Forza Motorsport 7 is out. It's out on Xbox One, Windows 10, and even the older Xboxes as well. Get ready for the thrill of motorsport at the limit. Gear up for the most comprehensive, beautiful, and authentic racing game ever made. Forza Motorsport 7 is here, available now on Xbox One and Windows 10 PCs. With Forza Motorsport 7, everyone can experience the danger and beauty of competitive racing at the limit. Collect over 700 Forza Vista cars, including the largest collection of Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and Porsches available in any racing game. Master over 30 famous environments with 200 circuits with dynamic conditions that change every time you race. You can download the free demo on Xbox One or Windows 10. The Smoking Tire Podcast is the... Wait, I said that backwards. Forza Motorsport 7 is the official racing simulator of the Smoking Tire Podcast. You can get it forzamotorsport.net, xbox.com/Forza, and if you play Xbox Live, hit us up at TST Racing. Finally, Beeline Coffee. Let's talk about this Beeline Coffee. So, it's Beeline... like make a beeline, like get somewhere quick, like drink some of this coffee stat. I have been drinking a ton of this stuff. Here's what it is. It's super like coffee nerds coffee, like really good Ethiopian, Rwanda, and South American beans, single origin stuff, super high end. Now, I would be the first person to tell you that car themed coffee is stupid. I'm like, what does cars and coffee, other than a show on Sundays, really have to do with each other? However, and I emphasize this coffee is so delicious that it's okay to make it car themed, because if it wasn't good, then it would be stupid. But it's so good that I love it. There's many different beans you can get from light, medium, dark, single origin, blends. They're changing it up all the time. You can even sign up for an annual membership. Check out beelinecoffee.com. I'm drinking this stuff all the time. I drink it every single day. It is delicious. Check out beelinecoffee.com and use discount code TST when you check out at beelinecoffee.com, and we will give you a special price for you, my friend. I make a special price for you. The cheapest price on the internet for Beeline Coffee is by using code TST. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. All of those are just The Smoking Tire. New one takes every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And don't forget, if you're listening to this podcast in audio, we now have a video version of it on our YouTube channel where you can see us and see what we are talking about right in your home. And if you're watching this on video, you can get the audio version of this podcast on iTunes Podcasts or from Shout Engine or using your favorite Android podcasting program. Thank y'all, and back to the show.
All right. The last thing that was said before we started coming back from break was Raph said, I want to tell you about the first time and the second time I rode a motorcycle. That sounds like the intro to a story I'd like to hear. So let's hear it,
The second
Raph.
time doesn't even count, because the second time you just killed yourself, and then that
Well,
was it.
Don't get ahead of
Let's
yourself.
hear about it. Let's go.
The second time is a lot shorter than the first time. So I was at Club Loose, the big drifting organization in New Jersey that runs out at Englishtown, and a buddy of mine was tooling around on his pit bike, Honda XR 100 or XR 100R, whatever it is, the little tiny dirt bike thing.
Yeah.
And
Looks like you drew a design of a motorcycle and then stamped it out of something like 7/8 scale.
I am like 5'9" on a good day. I'm not a tall person. Most cool motorcycles are either way too big for me or like they're way too tall for me, and it's just a motorcycle is a cool thing, but like I just can't approach it. Like I can't hop on a Suzuki DR whatever. And
I feel that way about Victoria's Secret models.
I don't agree with you, but go on.
Right. Well, I fear for my own safety because I have very poor judgment.
Same.
Yes.
I've seen you drive a rally car, so I'm back in agreement with you.
But this little Honda is like totally something that I fit on.
Perfect,
And I'm just
yeah.
like, both feet go all the way to the ground, and I'm just like, can I give it a try? And the guy's like, sure. Have you ever ridden a motorcycle before? I'm like, no, not at all. And he's just like, here's how all the controls work, the gears, the clutch, all the shit.
That man is a saint. Yeah, perfect thing. Go on.
Gives me the whole rundown, and like I poodle along, and I start to get it, and it's just totally different than you'd ever expect, and like an absolute joy.
And it's great. And you're probably not wearing a helmet.
No,
So wind's
whatsoever.
in your hair.
Yes,
You're,
I'm
breeze
going
through
around
your
just
shirt.
like the pits.
Yeah.
And it is strange because my brain is getting all of the sensations of operating a vehicle.
Yeah.
Whereas the rest of my body is convinced that I'm just walking at the same time. So
Yeah.
I'm like outside, but still doing like car brain stuff, and it's great. We do that for a bit. We end up moving. We end up being next to the woods, and there's like a motorcycle dirt, like woods travel thing through the mud. And he's just like, just go for it. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
And like I'm picking my way through little dirt trails.
And you were.
And I was. And it was absolutely
It's the
fantastic.
best.
And I'm just like, fuck. Like, my life is over because now I need
Now
a
you're
dirt
a
bike.
motorcycle guy. Yeah.
And I was, like, completely indoctrinated.
And the second time.
And the second time.
We are in New Jersey.
Given that this is in the middle of New Jersey,
Yeah.
I live in the middle of Brooklyn. Getting between Brooklyn and a place where I could actually ride a dirt bike is
It's a challenge.
yes. And so the
Can I actually preface this statement before you even begin?
Oh,
right,
God.
we're doing this TV show right now. We are done filming. We're done October 31st. he has to keep himself alive until then.
And intact-ish.
Yes.
Continuity.
Once we're done, he can do whatever he wants. And I'm like constantly trying to drill this into his head. He's like, yeah, sure, I got it. Now tell your story, Raph.
Right. So I never end up buying the, though I have every desire and every ability to buy a tiny little dirt bike motorcycle, some old 70s Honda or 80s Honda or whatever. I never do it. We're back a couple weeks ago. We're back at Club Loose. We're back at Englishtown. A different guy rolls up, another friend of mine. He has a different pit bike. It's some eBay engined 80cc
Chinese Honda knockoff.
Precisely.
Yeah.
He's like, it makes way more power than it ever should. Have you ever ridden a motorcycle before? And I'm like, yes, I have.
I'm great at
Bobby.
that shit.
Yeah,
Here,
he
I
goes,
can tell you all the
"Of
cool places to go.
course."
Yeah.
And
Yes,
he's like,
I have.
I was like, but it's been a while. Give me a little refresher. He's like, yeah, all the controls are here. Here's where your gears are. This, that, the other thing. I'm like, cool. And I'm like, he's like, all right, hop right on. And I'm like, cool. I immediately stalled out. And he's like, are you sure you've ever been on a motorcycle before? And I'm like, yeah. I'm just, don't remember everything. It's like riding a bike or whatever. So I'm like, I'll do it this time. I start back up. And now it may have looked like I was about to whiskey throttle into a Cadillac and kill myself instantly. Because the first time I had stalled out, I just hadn't given enough throttle. And so this time I'm like, I'll give it a little more throttle.
Open, yeah.
And then...
Because it's a pit bike. You can do that.
Yes, except this one sort of made it look like I was about to...
tuned, bro. It was tuned, had an intake.
No.
7.
Now, I was convinced that I traveled about 8 feet on this motorcycle.
Yeah.
Feet 1 to 5 did look like I was about to fly into a porta potty.
But the last 3, you gathered it
and
up.
death. But
No,
in the
absolutely not.
In the last 3, it finally comes back to me. I'm like, oh right, and literally every sensation in my brain, like everything clicks back. I'm like, hands, feet, whole coordination comes.
So
back.
you're good.
But
My
at
brain
this-
remembered hands and feet. It was
At
amazing.
this point, sweet Bobby Calhoun, who is in the midst of putting 2 superchargers on his 1UZ engine S13.
Really?
Had,
Awesome.
Yes. He had already made up his mind that I was about to kill myself, which, arguable.
Not inaccurate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not inaccurate.
Given enough
And-
time, you would have.
And gives me the exact precise look at any owner of any vehicle will give you of just like, you're handing this back to me immediately.
Yeah.
And I turned it off and handed it right back to him. And I was just
We'll
like,
sort you out.
"Here you go,
Yeah.
Bob."
We'll sort you out. Anybody, my favorite thing to do is to put people that actually would get motorcycles onto motorcycles. They're not for everybody, right? I mean,
Yes.
Dude, actually, the best thing about having a friend who works in motorcycles is that motorcycle publications have a non-endemic acquisition motivation, which is like get people that wouldn't necessarily read our shit to look at our shit. So I'm gonna be hitting you up for like press bikes, for the smoking tire, and all that kind of good
make
stuff.
that introduction.
I have a question for you, which is that what if I'm the sort of person who I don't really want to ride a bike, but I really want to be like in a Grom gang.
Bro,
We saw one of those in
Yo,
H2OI.
scooter
Yeah.
represent, bro.
Yeah.
I ride a Yamaha Zuma
gonna ask if you still got the
125.
Zuma.
It's my everyday ride in Venice when I don't have a press car or something.
Yeah.
And it is the best.
it's the best.
Oh my god! Because when we were in Ocean City and I saw like 12 guys go past
Dude,
all on
scooter
Groms,
gangs
and I was
represent.
like, I was like
100%.
that's the life I want to live.
I am completely unashamed of my affinity for my 125cc 4-stroke scooter. It's not a Vespa. It's just a Yamaha.
Hey, it's not a Vespa.
I look at them delivering Chinese food. It's the best. I have to get from my house in Venice down to Beverly Hills to see doctors a couple times a month, and doesn't 5 p.m. on a Friday. That's a 20-minute run.
So you're
with my
saying like
scooter.
somebody's gonna
Gangster
be
as
driving
fuck.
through Los Angeles and they're gonna be like, did I just see Matt Farah ride past? I'm like,
Absolutely.
Why
You
is
won't.
that
You
guy
won't
delivering
because you
Chinese
won't know
food?
it's me. I'm invisible.
You just look like a giant man
You're
on a
gonna
Vespa.
You're gonna look at this at me on my scooter, and
Yeah.
you're gonna go, "This is a guy with a fucking pathetic life. I'm just gonna let him by."
Naturally.
And that's it.
like this
And
guy knows
they're
he's
not
got
wrong.
a
They're not
gigantic
wrong. It's a
delivery
very
guy.
pathetic
This
life.
big man's
but-
got a scooter. He's got nothing to lose.
I love. So what I got a Yamaha Zuma, which is like one of those semi off-road
wonderful.
scooters. And then what I did, I motarded it. I put a Continental performance motorcycle tire on the Zuma.
Genius.
It's banging in LA because I've got the long travel shock, but I've got a road tire.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
I
The
ride
thing
a
does
dirt
like
bike.
57, 58 miles an hour. I've put $2 of gas in it once a month.
Have
It's the
you
greatest.
not done a one take about scooters yet?
I haven't. I really fucking should.
You really
I
should.
haven't.
It-
I
it would
will
be the
before
one-
I-
we can
The
find you
one
a
video
Vespa.
that's true to you.
You look fly.
I
Do
had
it
a
before you
Vespa.
get run over.
No, I had a Vespa. My first ever two-wheel experience was a 50cc Vespa. It was my
Yeah.
girl's, and I'm too fat for a 50, obviously. But my friend lent me one of those pistachio, like special edition,
Yeah,
like
looking
$8,000 ones,
Wonderful.
with the filsome leather and all that
Yeah.
shit. And I was like, okay, cool. And then I rode our old producer Chris Hayes had this Yamaha Zuma that is now mine.
Yeah.
And I rode that, and I was like, wow, this is the same.
You know what?
Bought it
Though?
off it for $1,200.
I mean, that's a perfect solution, right? But if you really want to make a Ferrari guy angry, go down to the beach with a
Yeah,
Vespa.
I know.
Because it's like, all the girls look at you.
I
It's
did
such
ride.
a-
Have you ever
it's
ridden a
such
Vespa
thing.
300?
It's I think it was
That's
like 80.
the
They're
shit.
incredible.
80. Fuck off 80. I did
I don't think-
106 miles an hour on the 405 on a Vespa 300. I did. I
That's
swear to
too
God.
fast.
Indicated.
No,
I
I don't.
Indicated.
No,
Yeah,
I don't
there's no
believe you
way.
because
Yeah, there's
you
no
wouldn't
way.
be here if that
Yeah.
really happened.
It was
in-
indicated. I didn't have a GPS backup, but it felt fast as fuck.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like
Yeah, it's
you're
because
like,
it's still got a pretty small
walked
tire
to
on
the
it.
moon. No, it happened. I remember the whole thing.
Indicated-
Was I under the
indicated
influence?
moon. It was-
Maybe, but it happened.
Listen, I'm telling you, I maxed out a 300 Vespa on the 405, and it scared the shit out of me. Whatever speed that was,
Yeah.
it scared me.
Well, they can't. They're scary, right? Motorcycles can be scary, but
Yeah.
they're also all right. So you go to a track day. How many guys do you think you're going to pass? Like a good day, you're going to be super stoked you pass like 15 guys,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
I'm just gonna say.
Let the man
What's
blow
happening?
his nose away from the microphone. That shit is cold as ice.
Raph's like off mic looking at his phone, but then Mike goes to blow his nose. He's like, hey.
If you pass 15 guys, you're going to be ecstatic. I came up here
Yeah.
from Orange County today. I passed like 1,000 people,
Oh, yeah.
and you're inches away. I could reach out and touch every single one of those cars.
I
You're
couldn't
not,
touch
selling,
that.
you're not selling it. Honestly,
It's an
you're not selling
amazing
it.
feeling.
True.
It's an amazing feeling.
You don't have to sell
You
me.
show
I've
up-
had motorcycles. I know it's
yeah,
great.
it's the best.
Yeah.
And you show up wherever you go and just I don't listen to headphones. I don't listen to music or
No,
anything like that.
you're focused on the task
You're
at hand.
so
and
focused.
there's definitely a zen about it.
Yeah, it's an incredible feeling. It's not for
Yeah,
everybody.
but I'm
for
not a
sure.
motorcycle person, so to me, it's like
You just want the gang
No, no,
feeling.
Like you should inject meth into your eyeballs. It's an amazing.
This is not
feeling.
meth.
Like,
True.
This is good.
If you're not a
cocaine.
motorcycle person and you're in the city, I do recommend the scooter. I honestly do.
Yeah,
I mean, I've had
scooter's
real
so strong.
motorcycles and I've ridden real motorcycles, and 90% as fun in the city. The scooter is.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah.
Sometimes
and more,
more.
practical.
Sometimes more.
Yeah.
You're buddies with Roy, right?
Easy segue.
With Alex Roy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've asked him to tell you the story about me just caning his ass, setting the Arc de Triomphe record again.
Oh, the Arc de Triomphe record.
You remember the Arc de Triomphe record?
Yeah, the laps of the Arc de
I
Triomphe.
savaged him.
You know, oh, did you?
Yeah.
him and his records.
Yeah, him and his
Listen,
records.
just because you do a thing that
That nobody else
someone
wants to
hasn't
do.
yeah, because it sucks.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that it should be a
Remember the Guinness
But
record?
you know what?
No,
That's
this is
how it
actually
becomes
what-
a record.
This is
Sessions
actually what
with
Guinness
space.
is doing nowadays. It's a
I
whole-
know.
a whole thing on another podcast, Planet Money. From
It's not
NPR.
nowadays, dude. I remember having
Well,
a-
Guinness now, like that's how Guinness makes its money nowadays.
course.
It's not from people buying the books; it's
Yeah.
from paying Guinness to
Yeah,
certify
just-
your record.
you
well,
have
and
to
to
certify the
send a
record. That
funny,
was with,
dowdy
John.
man in a green jacket.
That's right.
With the patch on it.
Have elbow patches on it?
It does.
Wow.
Brooks Brothers, Red Fleece.
My
He's
God.
freelancing for Guinness.
Yeah. They said we might do product placement, not yet, but hey, Brooks
We
Brothers.
tried to put a wardrobe thing together for an episode of Drive, and it all fell apart. It didn't happen. Remember, we were gonna get all free clothes. I don't want to say who it was from, but it was for
I know
Iceland.
the backstory of why that happened.
Yeah,
I'll tell you later.
Yeah, no, I know.
It wasn't our fault.
It wasn't our
It
fault.
was your fault. Yeah.
He tried.
We didn't bring it up, and we didn't burn it down, but we ended up not getting free gear. It worked out for the best because Iceland has the best sweatshirts you've ever fucking
Yeah,
seen.
but
And you guys spend hundreds of dollars, but it's worth it.
Why be a car person if not for the free shit?
For the free food.
Oh,
I'll
that's
tell you
all
what,
about the
man.
shrimp,
It's
man.
the
Lord of the junkets, here I come.
in my whole career, the press cars have been worth it. Honestly,
That's the thing
press,
that's worth it.
Oh, they're
Yeah,
never worth
100%.
it. They're
The press-
never
the
worth
press
it.
cars-
Press cars are awful.
Press cars are the best.
You live in New
They're
York.
the worst.
That's for,
Oh
that
my
for
God.
me is being
Jack
on the.
Baruch
Speaking
is
of-
driving his V6 Honda Accord right now, and he's listening to this
Jack
on the
gets
highway. and
Jack
he's
gets press
spitting on it.
cars.
Okay,
Jack
okay.
gets-
Speaking of press cars, you have a lovely NSX sitting
Yeah.
out right there.
Oh, we should talk
And
about the NSX.
We'll get there, but
love
this
it
is
so
why I hate
much.
press cars. You have a car,
Do
I know
tell.
you love it so much, and yet all I keep thinking is like, if anything happens to this, I'm gonna have to send a million like groveling emails.
Oh man,
Like,
I've sent the emails
that's-
before. It's brutal.
That's
I
what I
take
mean.
care of
I
the
don't-
cars, man. It's you never want to have to
Like-
say that. Send that kind of email.
Well, that's
It's
why-
not
Great.
That's why I like
Let
driving
me tell you
the
from
Yugo,
a
'cause,
great deal
Yeah,
of experience.
you had to
Yeah.
write one once, didn't you? Yeah, it's
once?
tough.
Write
Once?
several emails.
Yeah, it's tough.
But that's what I like about the Yugo. Like, okay, if I crash it, I'll be dead, but I won't have to write an email.
At least I
that's
won't
so
have
funny.
to write
Right.
the
That's
email.
all the anxiety.
I hate other people and like talking to them, communicating with them. I refuse to do it. So that's why press cars, man. Especially in LA, like it's not so bad. You have like beautiful roads here, but in, like New York, it's like here's a car.
Like how many wheels did you blow out?
I'm
on
up to
the
6.
BQE?
I'm up to 6.
Have
Six.
you really?
Yeah.
Have you blown 6 tires in
It's
press
that
cars?
bad.
Yeah.
Or in your own car?
not
In the Yugo?
tires,
Wheels.
not tires.
Oh,
no,
bent
no.
wheels?
Well, some of them it was tire or wheel. It's a little hard.
When
to
I
tell.
lived in New York, I bent a bunch of rims.
Yeah.
I bent at least 4 or 5 before, while I was like an adult living in New York for sure. It's
So
brutal.
easy
New York's
to do.
brutal.
Yeah, I broke all 4 on a Jaguar XJ once.
All 4 at the same time?
Pretty much, yeah.
Like you hit a button, and
No,
it was all
like
4?
it was like on the Belt Parkway. They were like doing like repairs, so they like stripped basically an entire chunk of the road.
Yeah, yeah.
And like left like a sheer cliff.
Oh,
so like you hit it. And
did you break it on the down or the up?
on the up? On the
Yeah.
up. Yeah, and of course it's a press car. There's all other thing. Like any normal car, you never get the big wheels because all you'll do is replace them all the
Right.
time. Press cars, the biggest
They
wheels.
always got the big wheels.
Yeah, and it's like you don't even know the car doesn't even come with those. Like I just
made
had a
the
Lincoln
mistake-
Continental on
The
22s with
big rims.
Pirelli P0s.
Yo,
Who buys a Lincoln Continental with that?
not the livery drivers that I see driving.
Yeah.
Lincoln
Exactly.
Continental.
Exactly.
It's the most unfortunate
Yeah.
car because it's so lovely.
Yes.
And the only people you see driving them are livery drivers in base fucking stripper.
well,
I've
that's the
seen
thing.
more.
It's
I've seen a lot
have
of.
you seen a
I've
couple?
seen a
It
lot
is-
of red ones around.
It is
very
lovely,
few.
but would you ever buy one? No.
Ford-
Don't even make it
Wait,
like it's a
wait,
hard
but I
decision.
would-
But you know, Jack
no, but
Baruch
in
is
fair-
somewhere saying,
No,
We're not. We're not the market for it.
I
though.
loved
We're not
it.
the
I
market.
had
No, no,
one
no.
for a week, and me and Hannah, my
It
girl,
was lovely.
we did like 800 miles in
That's
it.
nice.
And it
It's a
was
nice
so
car.
comfy.
It's lovely,
I
but that
loved
or
it.
a Volvo S90.
Damn.
Well, I
That's the
speak
thing,
now.
they're
She
like-
has a Volvo right now, so I can speak to this. My girl drives a Volvo V60 R design with the Polestar, which is like a
different car.
nice
Yeah,
little
yeah,
hot
yeah.
rod red. It's
Yeah.
the whole deal, right? It doesn't have the Olins and the giant brakes.
No, no,
but
yeah.
she commutes to work.
Nor does it have an all blue interior.
No, it's black interior, but it's been a little wonky.
Well, because
There's been some electrical what
that was
have
the
you.
Volvo
you are
that was-
so to get in the back end of the Ford.
Yeah.
We got the tail. Fair enough. We got the tail end. It's not the new, crazy powertrain. It's not the new interior. It's the last.
But
of the
have
old
you
one.
driven the S90 XC90?
XC? Yes, and it was lovely.
That's
it was
well,
very
the,
cool.
the S is
It was
it's the
very
exact
cool.
same.
It's the same
exact
deal. Yeah, Travis Okulski rolled up in one for one of our AER races once. It was cool.
But that's the
Nice
thing.
car.
Like
It's
you
nice.
could spend that or the exact same money on a Lincoln Continental.
You know
Actually,
what?
you'd spend more on a Lincoln Continental if you're
The
fully
Lincoln,
loaded.
the Lincoln was real cool, man. It had great seats. It had an amazing stereo. The
30-way
build
seats?
quality and the materials. The ride was incredible. I mean, it was a really nice car. Like,
I mean, it's a little jiggly when you're going slow, but
I didn't really find it, but it's tough. New York and LA are like as close, and Boston and Philly and DC are like as close as you get to like off-roading, basically.
yes. But this
Yeah.
is also why I was like,
Take it down
I
the
hate
alley.
press
I'd never
cars.
take that NSX down an alley.
But this is why I hate
All right.
press cars
Can't do
because
it.
it's like here's a car that you really think you're going to enjoy driving, but first you're going to spend 19 hours in traffic.
Yeah.
And you're going to be miserable, and you're going to be like swerving all over, dodging potholes the entire time. So like the other, so 4 in the XJ, and then 2 on. So it was not the same car, but I had 2 BMW 7 Series in one
Oh,
day.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
My dad had a 7 Series and bent 4 rims, like a
Yeah.
2012 750. I think BMW, I'm not even fucking around. I think BMW uses some softer alloy.
Well, no, it's
in
not
their
even that.
wheels.
It's the
I
run
once-
flats.
It's the run flats.
I won't
Oh,
say
it's
who,
the hard
but yeah.
sidewall run flats,
So-
and it deflects that energy into the wheel.
Every
and bends
time
the wheel.
there's nowhere for the air to go
Oh,
except
maybe.
out the side when it hits the wheel.
That could definitely
So-
be.
Mike
I'd like to
has
see a
absolutely no
Mythbusters on
idea what
that.
he's talking about, but I did
Tell me.
drive an X6M from a private owner who had insurance on his
The wheel and tire
tires.
insurance? Yeah. So I had that when I had a Mini. It was kind of a scam, actually. And I'm
Minis
not
bust a
suggesting
lot of
all
wheels,
of it are
though.
a scam, but I got the 18-inch wheels in a Mini, which no one should ever do. It was a big mistake, but I was 24.
Literally a big mistake.
It was a big fucking mistake. But I bent 3 wheels, but I had that insurance, that wheel and tire shit. But that wheel and tire insurance did not cover a cent unless it didn't hold air.
God.
So you could banana the fuck out of a wheel, and if it somehow miraculously still held air, no check.
So if you hit something and it was still holding air, what you need to do is like go back and finish
Hit it
the
again.
job. Yeah.
Hit it again.
Yeah.
Sledgehammer, whatever the fuck.
Find
that's
a
what
nail
you
to
did.
run
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
But that was
Now, what
it
I would
was a little
recommend
annoying.
if you're looking for a comfortable car for driving in the city,
1974.
Acura NSX.
The Acura NSX is a comfortable city car.
It is a
double wishbone
comfortable
front,
city.
multi-link rear.
The only
So-
I
that
wheeled
car-
that thing on some very rough.
Did
New
you ever
Jersey
go
back
in one?
roads. Yes,
So
I
you
did.
had to go. Did you ever go in one as well? For
Yeah.
did you do it for Car versus America?
This kills me.
America
No,
versus
no, no,
Car
no,
Not at all.
No.
Just for Jalop.
Yeah, actually, not even. Somebody had it for a week, and I was like, "Well, this thing's not."
What, the blue one?
Yeah, the
We drove it
How
for
nice
like
is
a
that
morning.
blue?
Yeah,
Have you
I
had to
drove
go?
for
Beautiful.
like a
I
couple hours,
haven't.
but was
So
like-
this all happened. NSX happened right as I was going motorcycle again.
Oh, you missed
and
out.
it kills me
You missed out.
Nah.
because it's a thing I've wanted for a long time.
It took me a year and a half to get this press car. This is the hardest press car I've ever gotten in my
Well, that's what I
career.
mean. We had one for a week, and I was like, "I'm not going to see this one again for a
Yeah,
while."
I was
The
trying to
thing
make
about-
some excuse to get it with the motorcycle. Actually, for that cover, I was thinking about that's an electric bike on the right there. By the way, it goes 200 miles an hour.
Cool.
Yeah, and I was thinking like, man, I might put it next to the electric motorcycle. That'd be neat. But
Well, now they're in the fleets.
Now
They
they're
The weird
just
thing
got
about
here.
the NSX is you shouldn't drive it on a road that you've never driven another car on because the road feels different in the NSX.
Yeah, that's a completely good point. You need a comparison.
You need a comparison.
I got very fortunate. We were filming Drive on NBC Sports, and we went to VIR and did a chump car race, 24-hour.
with BMW, yeah,
With the E30, right?
The
So
art
I
car.
did 8.5 hours in this race, which was a lot. I
Yeah.
did a bunch of driving.
That's a lot.
And in an E30.
Look at those guns.
So I was
See the guns. See 'em.
so I was very familiar with the course at E30 speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I then went out at NSX speed.
Yeah.
Holy mother of God. The track is a completely
Fucked up.
different
Yeah.
shape.
That's the thing. I wanted to hate that NSX so bad, and yet it's so good.
It's so fucking
The only
good.
thing that sucks is that it's got way too many gears. But like besides that,
You know, that's true. However, if you're going quick, you're still really just using 3, 4, 5.
yeah. But
Like
if you're
you're-
driving on the highway and you need
Yes.
to downshift from 9
Yeah.
down to 2,
I completely agree with you. Yeah.
Same
yeah.
with the new Raptor. Same thing.
Yeah, it does have 9 gears, which is medium annoying. And actually what's interesting is even in manual mode, if you're driving it like in the city, I drove it in manual mode all week. I didn't use auto once. And
that's how we know you're a real man.
I'm a real fucking car guy. And,
Car man.
I like it.
Didn't
And
even
so if
try.
you're very light throttle, it will even in Sport Plus, even in manual, even in track. If you're very light throttle, it'll do the 1-2 shift for you if you're at like less than a third throttle, which actually, first is really just the launch gear for the most part. So it actually, even though it does that one thing for me, like I kind of enjoyed that.
If you're driving slowly, actually, it will inject you with a sedative and then just drive you to wherever you were going, and then
it
it'll
is
just deposit you.
crazy.
It
fast,
drives so nice. The video that I have, first off, on my Canyon video, which is coming out the same day that the Drive film comes out, is it looks like it's in fast forward. I have never. This is the fastest in terms of actual like true carrying Canyon speed. For me, this is the fastest car I've ever
Oh,
driven.
and that's the thing. The car is always faster than you are. You know what I
It
mean?
is. It is.
Like it's
That's
one of
the
those
best
cars
feeling.
that you're just like,
But
oh.
on a Canyon, this
It
is
is
the
and
fastest
isn't.
I've ever been able to get. The road I was
I love
on
that
in the
feeling.
video, I looked at the time of the video
Yeah.
compared to the time that it takes me to drive that normally in other cars. And I'm not bragging or anything like that. This is the fastest of these on my roads. This is the fastest I've
But
ever
here's the
been down
thing:
these
was there
roads.
even tire squeal?
No,
No,
no.
not at all. 'Cause
The car is the most composed vehicle I've ever driven at any price.
Yeah.
That all-wheel drive system with the motors is completely batshit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what they've figured out, but when you go over a bump, and I was on the same road a week before in the brand new 911 Turbo S, which is one of the most composed vehicles at any price as well. When you have an all-wheel drive car where the front two motors are not connected to the rear at all and are not connected to each other at all, you have infinite possibilities of handling. And there's no car on the planet, maybe a Porsche 918, that has a front end like that car in terms of sheer stick.
Yeah.
Which is just, the numbers don't tell the story of that car.
Yeah.
It's like the LFA. You drive it and you go, what the fuck did I just experience? Because that's not normal.
Why do you think it got a bunch of negative press in the beginning? Just the wrong tires?
No, it was part of that, but I had heard that like, and I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but I had
heard a
like
rumor.
there were rumors that like they knew they kind of screwed up the throttle mapping for the early press cars.
I heard a
and,
rumor
like,
that early cars were unfinished and
Yes.
people were driving unfinished cars.
Yes, that's what I had heard
Because
as well.
don't forget, this is not a Japanese car. It is
built in Ohio.
It's a distinctly American car.
But
It
it
is
only
built
took
in
them
Marysville,
27
Ohio.
years to develop it.
So
That's
you know
all.
what's the letters NSX? I got. They gave me a press kit with the NSX. There was 107 pages.
Did you get the
long.
PowerPoint?
NSX stands
Did you get the
for
PowerPoint?
now some X.
So we
It's
went.
one of the only cars I've ever got that comes with a PowerPoint.
We went to when we were in VIR doing the track test, which was like 2 months ago. They sent the nicest dude whose name is escaping me right now, and I'm ashamed that it is. But he's like a chassis engineer with the car, and he
Sam
sits in
Acura.
he sits in the car with me, and he goes, "All right, here's what this is." And it's like 6 a.m, and he goes into the most intense PowerPoint
Yes.
presentation.
Yes. Oh, and they're doing. Did they do the thing where like he talks about like the alloys that they used
Dude,
and
what
like,
aluminum nodes? Something aluminum extruded
Nah, dude.
we
nodes.
got that too.
I got
was
literally
like-
none of that.
I
I was
got-
like,
Bro,
I
this
was,
is
I was
one
just
of the
shooting
most
the car.
complex vehicles ever built.
I was
in
just
history.
shooting the car.
and they want you
for-
to know it.
They really do.
Yeah.
All I was doing was I was shooting the car for a review for Patrick to write. And then like I deliver him back, like we drive back to Brooklyn. He's like, "All right, now you drive it." And I'm like, "I have like shit to do today. I don't want to drive the NSX."
See, this is what's wrong with him. He's like, I don't want to drive it.
You don't say no to this. You're
Yeah.
gonna be sorry you said no.
And he's
to
like,
it.
"No, you really should drive it." I'm like, "What's gonna happen? I'm gonna drive it for like an hour to get to a nice road in New Jersey, and then I'm gonna drive it around at like 30% of what it can do. And if I drive it anymore, I'm gonna end up in a tree, and it's gonna suck." And Patrick's like,
in a tree or in jail.
Yeah.
"Either one." And Patrick's like, "No, you're gonna drive it." And then it was actually really quite nice.
It's fucking great. It's
All that
was
that
the worst
preamble.
story ever.
All that
written.
Well,
This is
Excuse
what I
me.
mean.
Always
This is
stunk.
what I mean. Can you
Well-
imagine a TV show? The amount of editing they have to do.
Can we have a little more energy from you? That car.
Well, you guys balance out, so I
That
understand.
car is such a next level piece. And listen, I've driven a bunch of shit, and that is a next level.
Well,
piece
hold
of
on. I've got
hardware.
mixed feelings as well because when you drive that car hard and not necessarily well, I mean hard, you do get the feeling that it's like having a really good manservant all the time.
I wouldn't know.
It's a Jeep.
Tell
It's
us about
it's a
what you
total
know about your
Jeeves.
manservant.
It's like you can feel the front end like fixing all of your shit.
Yeah,
And at a
GTR
certain-
used to be like that, right?
And
like
at a
that
certain
used
point,
to be the,
you're just like, I'd
All right,
rather
so
not.
this-
And you're like, you feel a little bit put on. You're like, you don't want to ask for, eggs done a certain way. in the
you
morning.
remember
You just want to like
Matt,
have
that
your
used
fucking
to be the
GTR.
toes.
complaint
That
about
was
the
what people
GTR
said about the
was that it
GTR.
would fix your troubles.
Right, now-
and the Mitsubishi before that.
It's
Right.
not the problem is not that it's doing it. The problem
Wait,
is
what
is that there-
Mitsubishi is fixing
that
your
there is-
troubles?
Evo.
The problem is that there is a
There's so
robot
many
which
bad
is
ones.
working really hard for you
Yeah.
to enjoy your drive, and
That's-
you're like, I don't want to trouble this robot.
Now, I understand your position 100%. And the comparison to the GTR where you go, you know the car is fixing your imperfections. Now, granted, I don't know what it's like to drive one badly, but
Which I've also done, and it gets really.
I wouldn't know.
It gets
But-
really squirrely under
No,
braking.
like-
I heard
If
they
you
make
can-
snugger fit condoms.
those like comparisons are true, I think, but I think the steering in the NSX is way more direct than it is in a GTR. It's like super, super sharp. And the lower center of gravity and the fact that you're not in like a giant thing.
The GTR is
The
huge.
GTR is huge.
I wouldn't know because Nissan won't give us a GTR anymore.
GTRs are huge.
because of Raphael Orlove and maybe Travis Okolski.
The last time we had a GTR
I mean,
was
I gotta
Travis
say,
Okolsky and me,
Nissan's
and
not
it
wrong.
was great.
So look, I don't know. Chris, I had a long talk with Chris Harris at the shoot too. We would both buy one. If I could afford one, I would definitely buy one. I have almost 30 minutes worth of one take about this car. We've got
Well,
a
I'll say
street
this
video and
about
a
it.
track video coming out.
There's one moment which happens many times in NSX, which makes no matter how much it costs worth it. And you're driving the car and it feels absolutely normal. And then you look in the rearview mirror and you realize you're in like a completely absurd, like crazy looking mid-engine supercar.
Yeah.
That's
And
the
you're
best.
and it
Yeah.
is every moment becomes worth it. You're driving around and you feel like you're in like the world's most comfortable, regular, ordinary car.
Yeah.
Or you're hammering down a back road and you absolutely feel completely in control, and then you look behind you and you're like, I am in this
You look
completely
behind you, and
bespoke-
there's the engine.
I'm
that
in
is
this
an
completely
amazing
bespoke, gazillion-dollar engineered hypercar of
It's
of-
really cool. I
of
think people
complex
who
proportion.
complain about the price point, which is a lot of people on the internet, don't realize exactly what you're getting for that money.
Yeah.
Every
I
time.
still see people like, oh, it's like a 3.5 liter V6, whatever it is. Isn't that the same that's in every Accord? And
Bro.
no.
Actually,
it is
I
a
don't think
completely
there's a single
unique
part.
It
engine.
sounds awesome.
Completely
It
unique
sounds
engine.
like
Because
a Honda, like a Honda should sound.
Well,
like
no.
that-
You get three
Intake,
sounds,
right?
You get the induction noise of a racy V6, which we're trained now to think of as a racy engine because we're sitting here listening to like Daytona prototypes with V6s and shit. You hear turbo noise, which is also awesome.
Yeah, it's got a
And
blow-off valve. You hear when you pull the paddle, it goes bzz.
all the time. The only other car which is like more turbo-y sounding is like a 4C.
Or a
And-
Ferrari 488. We get that.
Not driven it.
Yeah.
And the other noise you get is the electric motor noise. So you get this like crazy high pitched, like sounds like you're in like a straight cut gear transmission car. Yeah.
The way that it manages the power on corner exit and you hit a bump mid corner, you don't have to adjust for that. It's just
There's
handled.
no
Yeah.
catch.
Right. So I was
taken
in
care
of.
I was in Harriman.
It's taken care of. I like that line. It's
You're
taken,
back to G's.
Yeah, Acura NSX. It's taken care of.
taken care of.
It's done.
I was on Harriman. I was in Harriman, which you know well. It was the road.
Harriman, upstate New York.
Yeah.
Yeah. By
Yeah.
the roundabout, but
Yeah.
on the far side.
Yeah.
And by where there's wherever the lake. I had driven Jamie Kittman's Peugeot 205 GTI along this exact
And
stretch of road,
same thing.
which is like famous for being the best of all the classic hot hatches, the most involved of all the cars to be involved in. And there was this one turn where the road dips out, but only on the left half of your car. So like the road is you're taking a turn. It's like a third or fourth gear turn. And it's just that the pavement drops out on your left half of your car.
I also like how you're like third or fourth gear turn in a Peugeot 205 GTI, so you're going about
So about-
12
yeah,
miles.
it's
an
You're
about
hour.
going about 12
42,
miles an hour.
yeah.
But you feel all these sensations and you're adjusting to it, and like the front wheels are scrabbling for traction, the back is sort of like doing its own thing, and it's extremely exciting, and you're like really involved. In the NSX, you don't even notice it.
You don't, but I'll tell you the other side of that. So yeah, the NSX deals with it, whereas you don't have that involvement of the scrabbling for traction. But a lot of the downsides of mid-engine cars, especially when they start getting real fast, the McLarens and the Ferraris and stuff.
The McLaren is a whole different level of digital.
They're crazy, but and you start going real fast. Is it the front ends get a little unsteady? They run skinnier tires. There's not much weight up there, and
It's not the same toss and catch game that you do
No.
with the front engine rear drive car,
Right.
where it's fun to
right.
get a little
so
hairy.
the front
yeah.
end gets a little unsteady, get a little pushy on the exit. It gets a little light, and you go, and you have one of those. And
Yeah.
you're not Chris Harris. So you're not actually drifting the thing, and the NSX does that is eliminated. The unsteadiness at the front end of the mid-engine car is just gone. It doesn't.
Well,
exist.
And that's the
weight
thing.
up
I
there.
bet you there are a lot of people listening right now who go, "Oh, that car must be terrible. It's not fun. It's all
No,
computers."
it's
That's the thing.
ridiculous.
It
I'm
takes
really gonna miss
takes
it when it's gone.
care of all your flaws, but
Yeah.
it's still like crazy fun. It's like getting really messed up one night and then there's no hangover the next
Yeah.
morning.
Now,
It's
in the
great.
interest of fair and balanced,
Yes.
because we're fair and balanced, I wrote down a list of 4 bad things about the NSX
Yeah.
that I learned.
Give me the badness.
After the
quick
track, I
success.
had no bad things. After I went to the track for a day with the NSX, I had no
Which
bad
track did you go
things.
to?
For VIR.
Oh, yeah.
Until you looked at the interior.
No. Then I had one for a week. And so now, after a week with the NSX, I give it back tomorrow. So the trunk, okay, is a weird kind of shape. It's in
Yeah.
the back. There's no frunk. The front is power steering and
Which you
electric motors.
can open, unlike
open it.
the Alpha 4C or
Yeah, that's
the
McLaren LT.
McLaren. Yeah.
I
or
think.
the
4GT.
What's the car I'm thinking of?
don't
The weirdo, the Renault Twingo. There we go.
Naturally.
Excuse
I'm
me.
glad you got around to it.
It's a lot.
All
better.
right, so
Sure.
the trunk is a weird shape. Now I was able to fit my golf bag in it with it. I had to take the woods out, but I could fit the golf bag. Now,
Boring.
listen. I'm getting at something.
And what are you doing next week?
I'm getting at something.
golf?
The exhaust is routed right under the trunk. Okay, so if you put groceries in there, you could probably spoil milk in 5 minutes. It gets really hot. Also,
How'd your woods turn out?
lice and whippy. They were a little whippy on the front nine because they were getting warmed. But there was a crazy rubber cement smell that was like super intense, like
No, I
exhaust
thought you.
melting.
I thought you
rubber
said you
and
wanted
car.
a supercar.
And
Sir.
every time you open the trunk, you go, whoa! You get like blown back by
Don't
the
think of the
gnarliest
NSX
rubber
as
cement
an
smell.
Acura. Like, think of it as like. Do you remember when like Oldsmobile?
If I think of it as like a Dino.
No. Do you remember when like Oldsmobile made that crazy like aero car in
Yes.
like the 80s? Imagine if that never went away, and like Oldsmobile actually kept on making like some
the
supercar.
old Aerotech.
Yes.
It is
it?
the
I mean-
Olds Aerotech.
I had a Hot Wheels.
if
one of
that
those.
actually was made.
Everything good used to smell like rubber cement.
Well, at first I was like, oh, it's a new car. It's that new car smell. And then after day 4, I'm like, oh, this is.
Yeah.
It's really. I need like a mask or something. And then also, the no frunk. That was thing 2. The cup holders are a thing that comes out of the glove box and sticks in.
That
the
was
side.
the weirdest thing.
You
You
see
pay
on my
how
Instagram?
much? You pay how
Sam,
much?
pull it
money
up
for
on my
this car?
Instagram. Well, so
200
on the other
grams
hand,
for
I've
this
had,
sport cup.
I've had
Does it
Look
look
like
coffee
the
in that
Miata
car.
cup holder?
Yes, it's
So
kinda
here's
like,
a picture of it on the screen.
Except it's worse
so
than
it's
a
a
Miata.
It's a plasticky deal that plugs into the side console.
Yeah.
Now, neither of those two beverages spilled on us when we went up Angeles Crest Highway, which is good, right? But if you don't want to have a beverage there, you have to take that whole assembly out and shove it in the glove box.
and if you're the passenger, it's like cutting into your leg. And
My friend Marty is in there, and he's 5'9", and it was okay. But if you're bigger than that, it's tough. And then also, so you guys ever drive a Viper? A new
No,
a fifth gen
actually.
Viper, a
Yes.
new one? You have?
Lots.
How tall are you, Cantle?
5'11".
Okay, so when you sit in a Viper, I'm about 3 inches taller than you. When you sit in a Viper, do you find that the bubble roof has room? So you actually have
I'm
the
good with the
headroom,
roof.
but that the windshield is low, so you have to crane your neck down a little bit and crouch to actually see out of it. I got to do
Well, yeah,
that.
the roof of the Viper like slopes down before the
Yeah.
windshield
Yeah,
starts.
the
I'm
roof line
okay.
slopes down.
I'm
So
okay.
this is why I stayed 5'5".
The NSX isn't quite. You're the perfect supercar size.
Yeah.
The NSX doesn't
We're
come down the
Italian
front.
si-
It's okay.
we're
So
Italian car size.
if you're whipping and you're looking forward, the windshield is okay. But if you're actually driving around trying to see like
Yeah.
addresses or something out the side,
Or if there's
it's actually
any
kinda-
kind of...
the side visibility is not very
Yeah,
good. So
I
for
gotcha.
practicality standpoint, like Porsche still wins. I think
That's the... All right.
Porsche still
I've been
wins
saying
the
this for years.
practicality.
Luxury now is a couple things. It's air-conditioned seats.
Oh, the
view-
Porsche ones are good too because
and
they
they're
don't
really
blow;
good.
they suck. You
And
know.
the view
Yeah, I know what you're
out
talking
the
about.
front. The greenhouse, right?
The greenhouse, the
That's it.
visibility.
That's,
Well, it's easy
that's
to
what's
use.
left.
You know, you just don't want to try too hard if you have a luxury vehicle. You want to be able to see everything and just relax.
Yeah.
And, Porsche
And
has
that's
that
all
down.
that's left.
Yeah, the Porsche is probably the better daily, but the NSX is. I took everyone who was out on the one take shoot that day for a ride in the NSX, and every single one of them. These were people with fast cars. It was the Stage 7 Rentec, and it was a Porsche 930 slant nose. It was fast cars these guys brought out, and they were all speechless after going in the car, and they just got in the car and went, "What the fuck was that? Like, what just happened?"
All right, someone
Like,
asked a question, which is probably an impossible question to answer. They said, "Is there any way to replicate that driving satisfaction for under $100,000? Not the performance, maybe, but satisfaction.
Have they
but
bought
it's like a
Yugo?
different. It's a whole new thing.
Yeah, there's this thing called motorcycles.
and even
No,
then,
there
it's
is.
not
Like,
like
I mean,
you don't have like the front end.
You
know,
could
front
buy a
electric engines
$60,000
and mid-engine power.
997 turbo and tune that thing up for $20,000 and be making like 700
But you
horsepower.
probably won't have the
No, but you know what?
drivability,
If
won't
they're
have the
looking for
handling.
like driving satisfaction, yeah, you could have fun in a car for real cheap.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the same experience.
different,
Yeah.
yeah.
But you could have
Right.
fun in the car for
You
Yeah.
real
could
cheap.
get a largely similar.
Come back over your hot.
You could
This
get
is
a
what I mean.
largely similar handling experience, and this is going to be like
You
atrocious
could.
to say. If you built like some sort of time attack front
Yeah.
wheel drive car,
Yeah.
If you built like the living bejesus out of Mazda Speed 3,
Yeah.
you would get 90% of the Acura's experience.
And I've driven
handling,
$40,000 Evos that are like so fast I found them uncomfortable.
but you're never
know.
going to get to the point where you're just like, I totally nailed this car, and then
No.
you realize like, wait a second, I'm in a hybrid turbo mid-engine supercar, and it all worked
billions
also.
of dollars of development that go into something like that, because it's not just building a race car is you could build something that goes really fast, but you can't make
the
it
real
go
tragedy
slow.
is about those billions of dollars, though. Because Honda's probably going to pull the plug on the NSX early.
No,
and then
I don't
they're not
think
gonna
so.
make
Why do
another
you
one.
think that?
Well, because nobody's buying them.
That's not true.
No, because
That's not true.
No, because when you have 150, 200K to spend on a car, a lot of people, they want a Porsche. They don't want an
No, I don't
Acura.
think that's true. I think that's a misnomer.
I haven't
think
seen
that,
many
I
of
think
them.
they do. Well, they just came out. Relax. The one I'm driving is pre-pro, for fuck's sake.
And you live in New York.
Still?
Yeah. And it only has 1,000 miles on it. The customer cars just came out.
I actually got into
So-
a car accident seeing an Acura NSX on the road.
Which one?
And this is why you want to have a 1970
I want to hear
Volkswagen
about
Beetle
that,
with-
but before I want to finish the sales thing, because a lot of people are talking about the sales on my Instagram and shit. So what happened was dealers pre-ordered a bunch of cars for the floor model, thinking people would walk in and buy them. There'd be a line, whatever. Turns out anyone who wants an NSX wants to spec their own NSX.
Naturally,
so all those dealer floor cars are floating around with like 30K on the hood because you can walk in and order the one you want with the options you want and the color you want and blah blah blah.
And if you order your own, you get to tour beautiful and scenic Ohio.
I would go. Hell yeah, I would go.
Have you been to that
actually
part of
been there.
Ohio?
I've raced in Mid-Ohio, and it's amazing.
It's the middle of Ohio.
I would buy
What's
an
not
NSX
to
and
love?
go straight to
Excuse me.
Mid-Ohio with
Excuse
it.
me.
It'd
If
be
anyone
awesome.
is listening to this and does go see their Acura NSX get built, go down the way to, and any employee there will know it, go down to the gas station lunch spot, and it's actually a really great deli.
Next to the Marysville, Ohio plant?
Yes.
Good to know. I've eaten great food in gas stations. There's no shame in that shit.
It's the good spot.
But, no. The NSX,
Don't ask me why I was
The
there.
NSX is incredible, and anyone who's driven one or been in one will tell you it's incredible.
Yeah.
It really is. And I don't
And I
think...
wanted to hate it. I wanted it to be so bad.
Well, it's so funny because that chassis engineer that gave me the
Millennial, you
PowerPoint
fuck.
presentation, when I first met him, and I was kind of like not into this NSX, I was like, well, it's not like the old one. You know what he said to me? He goes, I've got an old one. He goes, you ever had an old one on the track? And I go, yeah, a couple times. He goes, was it any good? And I go, now that you mention it, no, it was pretty awful on the track. And he goes, yeah, I thought so too. And that's why we made this one incredible on the track. And so going back to the letters NSX stands for New Sports Car Experience. And so in 91, a car that drove like that, mid-engine, light, fun, and wasn't a complete piece of shit like a Ferrari 348, that was the new sports car experience. And now this provides you an experience that to me and you, I think,
New if you haven't driven a McLaren
it's
or a
unlike
Porsche
anything else
911.
you can get. And certainly it seems like at 185
It's really
grand,
good.
It
Let the
seems like a
man tie
value.
his bow.
No.
He's tying a nice little bow.
No. It's
No, we're gonna
amazing.
blow it up because then we're gonna
Go
go
ahead.
to questions for you soon.
Go ahead, we
We're
got
gonna knock out
questions
some
now.
motorcycle
Questions
questions.
NSX
Please.
endorsed. Stamp.
Motorcycle
endorsed.
Stamps, but you can't stamp.
I can't stamp, but I got videos coming out. I'm not sure what date this podcast is coming out, but
Next week.
it'll be within a day or two if this podcast, if it's not up. But the car's fucking nuts. It's the best. I'm gonna be so sad when it's gone. All right, we got questions
We
from
got questions
Facebook.
for
Go
Chris
ahead.
on Facebook. I ride a Honda 450 Motard. What's the best bike in this arena?
You ride a Honda 450 Motard. What's the best? You've got a pretty good one.
You're so positive.
That one.
I like,
I don't
I
know
like
what he
your
wanted
style.
out of
Yeah.
that. What did he want out of that question? Honestly, did he want you to
I don't
say
know.
to trade it in for something?
You
What
wanted,
did
I guess he
want?
wanted to know if he should have FOMO or you should recommend something else.
I
but-
don't. I mean, it's a 450. So everybody makes a 450, right? I mean, it's sort of the universal race tool. So everybody makes a motocross bike. All the Japanese
Is that like
guys,
the 4-stroke version of a 250, basically?
Yeah. Well,
More or
yeah.
less?
I mean, it's
Okay.
That is what it is. It's the top level of motocross racing
Okay.
right now. It's a 450.
Okay.
So everybody makes one. So you can get a Kawasaki, you can get a Honda, you can get a whatever. Yeah, that's a good one. I wouldn't think that you need
Is there any
anything better.
huge differentiation that you know of between the manufacturers and that arena?
They're all good. I mean, if you want to, if you've got a motocross bike if you've got a supermoto bike, you're already doing a lot of the work yourself. So you've already made better or screwed up the thing that you're going to do, and you could do that on a Kawasaki just as well. You could do it on a Honda. The only thing that I would say you might consider is going and doing it on a KTM because it's street legal. which is nice.
Depending on what state you live in, because you can make those street legal in other states, I think.
You can make them street legal. You can maybe make a Honda street legal somewhere else.
get away
In
with
California,
No.
I mean, California is a 50 state legal bike,
Yeah.
right? So,
Or
KTM
is 50 state legal, yeah.
So you can go and rip around on a plated KTM, and I think a Husky too. Yeah,
All
you can do
right.
that for 50.
What's your opinion on 2018 Harleys with a Milwaukee 8 motor?
Stoked.
What's the Milwaukee 8 motor?
All right, so Harley just basically relaunched their core product line.
Because doesn't Harley makes their money because their customers want old shitty bikes, right? Kind of.
And they're like desperate to get younger people.
Like, because they
into
built
them.
a V-Rod, nobody wanted it. They wanted the old shitty bikes, right? So is the Milwaukee? What's the new motor?
It's
Their new old motor.
They're doing the same. They're doing the same thing. But Harley doesn't get enough credit for innovating and making the stuff that they do newer and better consistently over the years. They're not idiots.
With new leather
I
chaff
don't think
technology.
they're idiots.
They're making a successful American bike better over the years. The thing passes emissions now. I mean, it's a good bike. It has power.
I
They
just
look
think their
good.
customers want a brand new but old feeling product.
Yeah,
That's
they
what
do.
everybody wants.
Same
And
with
that's-
Triumph
yeah,
and all
I
that
mean,
shit.
Triumph as well. Triumph as well.
Same with
And
Porsche,
also,
same-
we were just
yeah.
talking about the old NSX. Like we are, as car guys, not at all. I think of all
Yeah, they
these
should come
people
out with
are
an
freaking
OSX
out.
that's the old sports car
Yeah,
experience.
old sports car.
That's
it's
just
just
miserable.
breaking constantly. Yeah, no. Look at how everybody freaks out about the new Volkswagen van. Right? I mean, we want that old experience. Harley's got it. They're great at it. They've kind of mastered it. I'm not a big Harley guy. I've had two big experiences on Harleys in my life, and that's it. I rode one around Morocco, the entire way around Morocco.
That's right.
Sounds kind of fun.
It
Did
was
you go down to
amazing.
Western Sahara?
Yeah, of course.
You
I
have to
rode it
come
all
back
the
and
way
tell
around
that story.
Morocco.
You have to
I
come
beat
back.
the living hell out of this thing, and one seat bolt, like seat retainer bolt, fell off. I rode probably 100 miles of dirt roads, caning this thing, and terrified that if it fell over, I wouldn't be able to pick it up. Also,
It was
but
like a bagger.
Wait, you
As
were
a
down
street
in
bike.
Western Sahara, and that's what you were scared of? Not like the Civil War or anything.
he was wearing a vest.
Yeah.
I was wearing a jacket, sir. Yeah, no, I mean there, and the other one, it was up actually on the monitor over there for a little while. Story I did.
that this?
Yeah, that's that.
Minimalist, a minimalist motorcycle touring in Arizona.
And the thing was great. I mean, it's not my style.
All
But-
right, let me ask you a favor. Can I ask you a favor?
Yeah.
So I've hung out with these motorcycle journalists before.
Yeah.
And these fucking people are nuts. I went on that like BMW ride, like the Escape from LA ride before
Yeah.
the LA Auto Show. So BMW has this thing they do every year where they invite all the motorcycle journalists to their warehouse in Torrance where they keep the press bikes. And like it's like 20 journalists. You take all the bikes and you go out to the canyons and you ride around, blah, blah, blah. It's before the LA Auto Show.
20 people leave, 17 come back. It's the
Right.
usual
So
shit.
I had borrowed a couple of press bikes from BMW, and this is like 2010. And I went out there and like these guys from the second we pulled out of the driveway, it was like, I mean, it was like road rash or some crazy
The
racing shit.
threshold is way all right. So
Craziness, right?
yeah, you think
crazy.
you think our guys, the car guys, go pretty good. The
No.
level of
It's
professionalism.
like a MotoGP race through the canyon.
It is so gnarly.
So
The
scary.
level of professionalism. So our guys, Ari and Zach, like they're both like honest to God road racers.
Yeah.
There's a guy named Don Canet that I worked with when I was at Cycle World years and years ago. Also properly fast. Like he's like setting Pikes Peak records. and stuff.
Right.
I mean, these guys are properly fast.
Right.
It's a wild industry.
Right.
All
So
those
fuck
guys
all
are-
that. Can I come ride Harleys with you and take pictures of canyons and shit
Yeah,
in
'cause that's-
Arizona?
all right, so-
can we go on a ride where like that shit isn't important?
Here's what life's like, right?
I mean, that's the thing.
Then we can hang out. I'll fuck with that all day.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
So I mean, the thing we're trying to do is to have a little of both, right? I mean,
What were you doing
we've got
there
this.
in that picture with the motorcycle in your hotel room? Go back up.
We just wanted to
Yeah.
not leave them outside overnight.
Touch the bike.
Depending
Touch
on where you
the
are.
bike. Touch the
Well, this is
bike.
such a calm ride that some of the pictures have been like you drinking a drink. You know, it's not like
Yeah.
12 o'clock wheelie. It's like this.
Yeah.
This is one of the most exciting moments of this trip.
We
That's
want to
the
be able
favor
to
is
do.
I
all
want to
of it,
go
right?
with you on one of these chill rides.
Come on a chill
Let's
ride.
do it. That sounds fun as
It's
hell.
really nice. It's so
You
I just
do
got back.
Quaaludes. It's really just
You
relaxing.
guys, we can ride and do lewds.
Let me tell you about my last
campfire.
show, Rad. So I took the same guy. That's Abby. Abby's got a cool little motorcycle site called Bike Curious.
Oh, great name.
Good name, right?
That's the name of a bike shop in Venice, too.
Abby's-
Wonder who's infringing on who.
Yeah. Abby's awesome. So Abby and I just got back from a week in Italy. We took an Aprilia Tuono and the
cool.
new Aprilia Shiver 900 up into the Alps.
Is the Shiver the automatic gearbox, or is that the Mana?
That's the Mana.
The
and
Mana
the
has
Shiver,
like a CVT, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
and
weird.
It was like the very first one. I mean,
Yeah.
it was Aprilia being Aprilia and
Like a
trying
snowmobile.
something new. Yeah, and it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't for me, but it was a perfectly fine bike. The Shiver is actually a really nice bike.
Is that a sport bike? Can I picture the Aprilia
It's
Shiver,
just-
Tim? I
yeah.
forgot what it looks like.
So like a little small trellis frame 900 motor in the new one, and it's nice. Like it's just a nice, comfortable, like good, stable ripping around bike. We took those two things to like Celapass, Stelvio.
That's a pretty bike.
It's a good looking
It's like
bike.
is that a naked sport bike, or is that a more like
Is that might be the
motard
old,
style
is that
bike?
the old one? I can't tell from this angle.
It looks
I
more
don't
like
know.
naked style bike. Like
Naked
a
style
No,
bike?
that's the old one. That thing's got a custom pipe on it. You're looking for the
Oh.
new Shiver 900.
Chris, it sounds like you like motorcycles.
I love motorcycles. I love cars too, but I mean, I got to tell you, right now, motorcycles are giving me something that cars don't give me, which is that little feeling of wildness and newness. The Aprilia Tuono's got
Is that it
100
right there?
That's it right there.
Oh, that's a
and it
pretty
is
bike.
a good looking bike.
That's
Yeah,
a good looking bike. Is it kind of an upright position? Seat
it's
position?
super upright.
This is good. I have
super
back problems. I
comfortable.
could ride this.
Me too.
One of my favorite bikes
Was
was an Aprilia Dorsaduro 750.
they just revised that too. With
Is that a 900 now?
Yeah.
Oh, that shit sounds like 2 cylinders of a Ferrari Scuderia hacked
All right,
off.
all right.
It sounds boss as hell.
It sounds
I love
boss
that
as
bike.
hell. I've got all right. So the other thing that Aprilia does is make this V4 that they put in the Tuono and the RS-V4, and the V4 is like having either half or a third of Ferrari's very best
Yeah.
engine right under your balls.
Yeah.
and it is amazing.
Yeah.
It is the most incredible experience. In the Tuono, it's 174 horsepower. In the
Jesus
RS-V4, it's 200 and change.
Yeah.
It is.
I'll pass.
Yeah, I mean, you say that. All right, you
Put it
say
in the
that.
car.
You're not
I
going.
drove this little Honda that had
They put it in a sports racer.
VFR 800 V4 in it.
Yeah.
In a little Honda N600. It was one of the greatest cars you could ever imagine.
Yeah.
No,
No,
it's not a Formula 1 car.
They put that thing in a sports racer. Yes. Because think about it, right? It's already got a sequential transmission.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
you're
in a
done.
Radical or something, right?
Yeah, like that. Yeah, I think
What kind of
it's
sports
an
racer
open
they
wheel
put it in?
racer. I don't know.
V4?
It looks like a little Formula, like a new Formula Renault or whatever. But you think about like the power density of that engine. It's this big, right? And then it's got a sequential manual. It's super cool. But you put on a motorcycle and you are
Yes.
just sitting right on top of that thing. And Abby and I, like, it was raining and terrifying. The thing was on basically like cheater slicks. So the entire time we're over there, we're going through like Celapass in full pucker because it's like greasy. There's transmission fluid. It's Celapass. Like it's a working road. So that was kind of terrifying. But every time we pop into a tunnel, just having the best time of our lives. It's an incredible feeling.
True.
Cool.
True. Can't replicate that really.
No, you can't. Not with anything. It's the best.
What else you got, Zachary?
What do you see in Ducati's future?
Dollar
all right,
bills.
so
Who are they? Who's buying them?
I think they're off the market. So Bruno De Prato, who does a lot of stuff for Cycle World, was just writing about how a German machinist union something blocked the sale, and I lost that was enough for me. But Ducati's a brilliant brand, right? I mean, it's big. It's sort of the thing you think of when you talk about Italian motorcycles.
Yeah.
And
They definitely have more name recognition than I think any other,
Anything.
certainly any other Italian brand.
yeah, and probably
motorcycle brand.
probably also Skoda. Right? I mean,
Yeah.
if I was Volkswagen, I'd be looking around the family and saying like, "Oh, Ducati's pretty cool."
Yeah. Their bikes are a lot cheaper.
Skoda
like
has an
I was just
incredible
at,
origin story. If you're ever curious
Yeah,
about it,
I know. I like Skoda. I'm not dissing Skoda. I'm just saying, it's Ducati.
there is a Volkswagen Group Ducati story which I have attempted to run down, have not fully completed, but
We might as well start that rumor.
Is it me or are Ducatis cheaper than you think they are?
They are.
All
They are,
motorcycles, all motorcycles are cheaper than you think they are.
No, because I was just at Del Amo down here, which is the big one. 'Cause
Yeah.
I needed a new helmet. And the Ducatis, like the nice looking monsters and stuff were like that, were like 12 grand. And fucking Gixxers and stuff were 9, 10. It's not like
Gixxer is a pretty incredible thing.
Well, I know, but I thought there was a big premium for Ducati. I guess that's not the case. I mean, I guess it's still 20% or 25%.
Really good motorcycle. All right, so here's my thing. If you're looking at like the most exotic experience you can get on a motorcycle, it's that Aprilia RSV4 we're talking about, which is like the thing is unbelievable. You can adjust the engine up and down inside the frame to affect the handling. You can adjust the swing arm. You can adjust the rake.
You give that to people.
I would say the same thing. Is that
on a button, or do you have to physically loosen a bolt and lift
do
the engine up?
all the things you think you would have to do because it's basically a race bike that you can hang a license plate off of, and it makes 200-something horsepower. It is an incredible
bike.
Yeah, it's incredible.
That is a nice
you can buy that bike.
Motorcycle.
I mean that thing. I've seen them on sale 2016s for like 15.
Really?
Yeah.
That seems like a lot of performance.
It is an incredible amount of performance.
For 15 Gs.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know what the MSRP is offhand. It's like, 17.9 or something.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible.
That still seems like
because the highest end Ducatis were like 22 for the Panigale or 32 or something crazy.
So you're no matter what, you're getting a bargain that makes a really good car seem like just a giant waste of money.
True.
Crazy.
What do you and we'll end on this. What do you think of electric motorcycles?
I think they're brilliant.
That was your cover.
I think that's the future. Yeah, we got one on the cover. We've got a couple of Altas.
Which
sitting
is the
at
one
office.
on the cover? Altas?
No. This is the Lightning. It's called I think an LS218 because that's how fast it went.
That's bonkers.
What's it called?
A Lightning LS218.
Lightning LS218.
Yeah. So I mean that's your future right there, right? So motorcyclists, we've been losing places to ride fast for decades, right? I mean, Laguna Seca is under threat. That's kind of our home track.
Losing to what? To sound?
To development, right? I mean, like Carlsbad. There used to be a motocross track in Carlsbad. Like, there's so many really great racetracks all over the country that are closing up shop. If you go electric with motorcycles, you can race anywhere you want. You could race.
Let me tell you something. This sounds like a water pipe argument. This sounds like what I just heard you say is if you have this electric motorcycle, you can whip on any road and no one will hear you coming and you'll be gone way too fast by the time the cop even realizes you went by. That's what I just heard when you said that.
Right. You heard what I said.
Any of that Laguna Seca bullshit.
You heard what I said. You heard everything I just said.
I heard you can run drugs across the border and you'll be gone by the time they know.
Yeah, I mean, the military is all about.
It's a beautiful photograph of in the mountains with. Are these electric?
Yeah. So those are gas motorcycles. Okay. Those are Aprilias.
Well,
our next issue is an Italian issue, so that explains the Alps and all the adventuring and stuff.
It might open up some cool stuff like that, like electric dirt bikes,
It's got to, right?
What's the range?
I mean, think about like road racing downtown, right? You could road race small bikes, and I have no idea.
It'd be like running bicycle races in your local downtown or whatever.
What's that?
It'd be like running bicycle races in your local downtown, which happens all over the country.
Yeah, and tiny impact, right? Yeah, I want to go and rail on all the roads that I love railing on and not get busted. That would be the best. But also, like, if you care about performance, you should really care about electric motorcycles because there is... Right now, those two things are neck and neck. That's a Kawasaki H2.
I got to tell you something. I drove a Tesla in the canyons. And the logistics required to get a Tesla from my house to the canyons, and then drive fast to the canyons, and then get home. That drive, that was about 6 hours of what I could have done in an hour and a half in a gas car.
Were you near a supercharger?
There are no superchargers anywhere near the canyons.
Yeah.
Fuck no.
But I mean,
Teslas work when you're
what
near
you're looking at.
Supercharger.
Yeah, they are. But if you're gonna build a bike that goes fast on electricity, it has to be able to make it through the kind of ride that someone wants to take a bike like this on.
Yeah, different applications, right? I mean,
I don't think so. I think it's the same application.
I would love to. Yeah, it is, but I mean, you're talking about a thing that you do for work, right? Which is go and take a car on a weekday.
I wouldn't say I do something that's out of the ordinary for an enthusiast on a motorcycle. I see these guys up there on the canyons all the day. These guys run 100 laps of the Snake.
Yeah, so that guy that's running 100 laps of the Snake could go outside his house, which is maybe downtown or maybe in Santa Monica with a couple of buddies, and do a little bit of road racing around a cone course that wouldn't bother anybody. Like I would be hanging out with those guys having a beer instead of going up and down this.
Are they setting up autocrosses downtown?
It's just not time, man. That's what I'm saying. You can do it.
Well, yeah, but I think that's different. Like if they set up a city course for racing, that's one thing. But for recreational riding, you
Yeah.
need way too much space because autocross kind of sucks.
Autocross on a motorcycle sounds shit.
Oh no,
That's
it's
horrible.
a lot. Well, the reason autocross is boring is because it's not heads up, right?
No, it's just a
And because
tight
it's
and
slow.
It's tight and slow.
Yeah.
Yeah, take your pick.
I mean, I love first gear and all.
Yeah.
But damn.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right, I mean, look, I think it's cool, but
yeah.
like it needs to have the kind of just enough range that you can get through a Sunday ride.
Yeah,
Don't
totally
get there.
agree.
Don't
Totally
get there.
agree.
That's
And that's
all.
that's the future of it for sure. But I mean, for me, you have performance that you can get your hands on now.
Yeah.
No,
my
they're cool.
my dream commuter, honestly, would be an electric supermotard. Like to ride around the city. That would be fun and awesome and torquey and have plenty of range.
Alta.
You know,
And if my
makes it
scooter
today.
had a 50-mile
Really?
electric
I
range
believe you.
on it, I would be happy with that.
Yeah.
Like it's got a 70-mile electric range. It's got or a gas range. It's got 1 gallon. So
Yeah.
like if I had a scooter with a 50-mile electric range and charged on a 110, like I'm about that for sure. I'm pro electricity for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
I would just if you're gonna build an electric sport bike, at a certain point it needs to last the length of a basic sport bike activity.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's
know?
totally
That's all.
fair. That's totally fair.
You're local. You got to come back. We got to wrap this show. I'm worried my computer's going to crash because we're recording. We're recording too long. We're like,
I'll come back. I'll come back and I'll bring some. I'll bring the boys. I'll bring the fast guys.
Bring them all. The crazy motorcycle people.
Yeah.
Bring the
Us.
slow
The
guys.
opposite.
Not
of
you.
us.
The opposite of Balaban and Raph.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, now let's.
Have you considered like just a leisurely walk? It's also lovely.
Do you ever
So
read my
another
walk
way
across
to.
LA piece?
I did. I
still
did
do that.
indeed.
I still like a good walk.
we got to do some plugs. We got to get out of here. We got to
Plugs?
call the show. This is the show. This
All
is
right.
the whole thing. Cycle World Motorcyclist.
Motorcycle is my thing. You want to read what I'm doing?
one's just
You're
a
going to
favorite,
read
party
it.
favorite.
Yeah, we like those guys. But you want to read what I'm doing? It's in Motorcyclist Magazine. We got a couple of smart guys over there doing a couple really great video series. Ari and Zach, On Two Wheels and MC Garage are fabulous. Those guys rode motorcycles up to the Eclipse, big American cruisers,
Gangster.
Eclipse and back.
I want to come ride Big American Cruise with you. Whatever
Yeah,
doesn't
man.
require me to be a crazy person, I'll do that. Sounds
Absolutely,
great.
and we can get you fast too. Fast on a
I
motorcycle
wouldn't mind.
is
I wouldn't
really
mind, but
fun.
I've had 2 back surgeries. I don't want to drop a bike on a racetrack.
Nobody
I've already
does.
pushed the limits of my spine. But thanks for coming down. Come
Hey,
back.
thanks
Come
for
back
having
and
me.
see us again. Soon,
I
for sure.
absolutely will.
Balaban and Raph, Car vs. America.
October 18th.
2 days after Drive on NBC
Yes.
Sports. What
Yes.
a coincidence!
We're gonna take you
We're
down,
going
Farrah.
heads up, brother. Heads up.
Yes, at the show with no money.
I know. I'm so happy for you guys. This is great.
Well, we'll
this
see.
is
We'll
super
see if
fun.
anyone actually, watches it and likes it.
If
Then
it
you can
doesn't,
say
it'll
you're
be
happy.
just like this video.
our show's October 19th.
Oh, we're 19th? Why did I think we were
Oh.
16th?
The premiere.
The party's on the
The
16th.
party thing is
Yeah.
the 16th.
The premiere is the 16th. That's
Yeah.
why I thought that.
Yeah.
I thought there was a tie-in, apparently.
No.
October
We
19th.
did the
October
same thing.
18th.
18th.
18th at 8 p.m. on Fusion.
Eight?
Yeah, today. And
Cool.
the
That's my
very
birthday.
first episode you could actually watch on jalopnik.com
Yeah, I don't want to give any spoilers, but they're still alive.
for now. For now, actually,
Yeah.
we are shooting. We have 4 more episodes to go. So
Oh wow, you're airing and you're not done yet.
no, we're not done yet.
Oh boy, do you have some
Yo,
pressure.
dude, it's some real shit.
We'll talk over dinner. Yeah.
Chainsaw Drag Race is
oh
up next.
man, thank you for guys for coming in. Raphael Orlove on Twitter,
yes.
or what? Are you just Balaban?
Balaban.
You're straight
Yeah.
Balaban.
And hold on,
Twitter.
Instagram handles are ridiculous. I'm Camsin Dreams. I'm dreaming of a Maserati Camsin, and I didn't think Instagram was gonna take off. And
It wasn't going to be a thing.
I feel
it was a simpler time. It was a simpler time. And Michael Balaban has possibly the best Instagram handle. He is at Balaban Fans.
all like 3 of them. I have like
He is
3 followers.
He is
And-
a fan account of himself.
I'm gonna start an account called Balaban Employees and get more fans than you, real quick.
Yeah, it's gonna be like Flight of the Conchords. Their
Oh,
cover band,
man.
like of the Conchords, was
Wow.
bigger than that.
Read about Raph and Balaban's fucking terrible cars on Jalopnik.
Please do.
No, Car vs. America, dude. I'm super excited for you guys. This is
Yeah.
television. This shit's
Gotta be
real.
great.
Your parents can like
You know,
be
it's
proud of
actually-
you now.
it's actually
you have
not
a real
real,
job
but-
now. It's crazy.
With health insurance and everything.
Do you have health insurance?
I mean,
Not through the
Oh,
job.
through
no,
Univision.
through
he
the
has
union.
Yeah,
Solidarity
Univision
forever.
Union.
Yeah. Raph and I are the union reps for Jalopnik.
Are you learning
we
to
get-
hablar
Genuinely.
Espanol yet?
No.
You're a union rep?
Hell yeah.
How many
both
no
union
shows, no works do you get? I watched The Sopranos.
It's
I
more
know
like how many
stuff.
days without injury.
You should keep one of those things
Yeah.
in the office.
As long as someone doesn't
should
pull a
indeed.
fucking machete on you like happened to me at work yesterday. I don't have no health insurance, son.
That's right.
Wow. Thanks for coming in. This is a fun show.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. That was a good one. The Smoking Tire Podcast is, as always, powered by Shout Engine. Get your own damn podcast at shoutengine.com. All you need is some kind of recording device, maybe something resembling a microphone, something to say, maybe something coherent even, and a connection to the internet. They will handle the rest. I don't know why I've gone with the romantic voice, but I'm committed now. So good night.